Well, good evening, everybody. It's Jessica Jones. I'm the Cryptid Huntress. And man, do we have a fantastic show for you guys tonight. I have done a remote viewing target, which involves something that's a little bit controversial, or maybe it's a lot controversial. And it's from a while back. It is a potential baby Dogman puppy. Okay, and I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. I did post it on my social media. I actually got a community guideline. I don't know if it was a strike or warning or what, but it was, of all places, it was on TikTok. Okay, today for this thing, and some people say that it is a rubber doll. Okay, so if it's a rubber doll, they got some explaining to do, or I got some explaining to do to TikTok, I guess. So, but anyways, I have remote viewed this, and this is going to be really interesting tonight. I have a brand new co-host here tonight. I have Eric Testerman here in the studio tonight. Now, you guys might know Eric from the Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast, Sunday Morning Brew and Saturday Morning Brew with our friend William Nighthawk, a very good friend of mine and a friend of the show. He is here. He actually has his own YouTube channel. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Okay, so before we get started, if you guys would like to follow along with all of my shows, everything I'm doing, please go to my website. That's thecryptidhuntress.com. You'll find all of my shows there, all of my events that I'm going to be at, and whatever else you need to find that it entails my life over there. Okay, so just go to thecryptidhuntress.com. Also, all of my data for tonight's show is in my Patreon. So if you guys would like to become a member of my Patreon, I do put exclusive content up over there. So please become a member of my Patreon. Shout out to all of my members over there on Patreon. Also, thank you to all of my channel members. Man, you guys can join the Hunt Club over here on my channel. And that entails exclusive content that I put out. I try to do at least 1 or 2 videos a week over there on the Hunt Club. So thank you to all of my members for that. And also, last item of business, I have a shop. It's called War Woman Goods over on Etsy. So if you guys would like to support me in any kind of way, go to War Woman Goods and buy you some jewelry. Okay, everybody. Well, let's get to our show tonight, because I can't wait. I have actually been consulting with the North American Dogman Project today over this one. This was I was gonna say earlier, this was a messy target. Okay, this is messy, and I don't get those very often, y'all. I really don't. It's actually super interesting. I want to give you a little background. Okay, before I bring Eric up, I'm going to give you guys a background of how this target came to be here on the channel, and the background of what the target is. Okay, so I will show you guys a picture. Okay, so I talked with my friend who sent it to me. Okay, I contacted him a couple of days ago, and I was like, hey, this person had sent me this picture last year and was like, well, I don't know for sure if this is real, but we're looking into it. Don't show this yet, because we don't know if this is real or not. Okay, and so I did not say a word. It was actually put into the pool of remote viewing targets. It was assigned some coordinates. It was put into the pool to be a blind target. And at some point this past year, I did remote view this, okay, as a blind target, not knowing what this was. It was in a pool of targets, okay, and those numbers came up when I was remote viewing, and I remote viewed it. Okay, so I do have data from this. Now, I kept it to myself when I figured out what this was, because I had been asked not to talk about it publicly yet. Okay, well, fast forward to about a month or two ago, I was contacted by a viewer of our shows here, a viewer of the channel, and she sent it to me saying, hey, I have this picture. I've held on to this for 8 years, and I haven't shown this to anybody. You know, do with it what you will, basically. And I let her know that I had seen that picture before, and she was actually kind of surprised because she thought that nobody had seen it. Okay, and so this is the picture. I'm going to flash it up on the screen. It may be this is for entertainment purposes only, okay, and for educational purposes only, and it may be a doll. Okay, so here we go. This is the picture right here that I got sent by 2 different people. And it does look like a man who potentially has been hunting and has a little critter right there. Okay, he's holding up a little critter, a dog. So that's what that was. That was the remote viewing target for tonight. Okay, so that's how this came to be. I had remote viewed this last year, but I was encouraged by the person who contacted me to make it public. Okay, so that's why we're talking about this tonight. In 2014, an article appeared on the Bigfoot Evidence website with a picture showing what appears to be a man holding a medium-sized dog. Upon close inspection of the dog, it appears that the dog has fingers instead of paws on its front feet. The story behind the picture states that a group of men were hunting at the Texas-Mexico border on the Mexico side. There was a group of 4 to 5 guys that had hunted together for the past 20 years. I mean, there's a long story behind this. Okay. But they had been sitting around the fire, had some beers and had some drinks, had some food. And around midnight, they began to hear some strange chattering, barking sounds, unlike anything they had ever heard before. It was creepy and unnerving. They decided to go investigate. A couple grabbed lights and a couple of the guys grabbed rifles. They moved towards the sound. They went about 100 yards away from their campsite, and they found 3 dogs that had climbed into a tree, is what they said. Okay, this is according to the Bigfoot, what is this, whatever website this is, Bigfoot Evidence website. Okay, but they said that they moved toward it until they heard it. They shined their lights on it. To their amazement, there were 3 sets of eyes looking at them and peering at them through the tree, and so they decided to fire on them. Okay, and they got one of them. That is the story behind what that is. And they said that the next day, they said they didn't know what they were looking at. The next day, they contacted Mexican authorities. And according to the website and the story behind it, they said they were told they weren't supposed to have that and it was confiscated. Okay, and that was the end of the story. Now, some people in the community, okay, in the cryptid community, this has been online for at least 10 years, maybe longer. Some people claimed they thought it was a Dogman, like a Dogman pup, a Dogman puppy. Others said that it was a rubber doll. Okay, a doll or it's just a hoax altogether. Okay, so I did remote view this. There's a lot more to this story. Okay, and to help me talk about that tonight, I have Eric Testerman here, who is an author, a veteran, a motorcycle rider, a father, and an inspiring cryptozoologist. And you guys can also find him on his YouTube channel. I've got both of his YouTube channels right here. We have, of course, he's on Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast, and he's also on the Bizarre and the Unknown channel on YouTube. Please help me welcome to the show, Eric. Hey, Eric.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on. This is kind of an honor.
Oh, no, it's the pleasure's all mine. It really is. Thank you for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. we got a good crowd here tonight. This is exciting.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. Well, Eric, so I have been really enjoying watching you on your live shows with our friend William Nighthawk. You guys have the best discussions on the paranormal, on cryptids, on modern day events that are going on in the world, but you have a very unique approach on things, and I can tell you're very psychic, which I can appreciate because this is my remote viewing show tonight. Okay. Tell me about your background a little bit. Let the audience kind of get to know you and what you've been doing.
So I've been dealing with paranormal since I was 3. My very first paranormal experience was my late grandmother, my mom's mom. She helped keep me alive. When I was born, my lungs were together and I had to be shaken 24/7 to stay alive. If they stopped shaking me, I stopped breathing. So my mom's mom, my grandmother, had a very, very longing attachment to me. When she passed away, my very first experience, I was in St. Joe, Missouri, on Cudmore Street. We lived in a 2-story house. It was the old school 2-story house. They had the basement that had the fold up door in the mud room. I mean, it was an old school house. Loved it. Well, next to my room upstairs was the attic. Well, me and my little baby brother. That was our room was the attic was next to it, and we always heard noises. And one day, after I tried to talk him into doing it, which he wouldn't do it, I finally did it, and I met my late grandmother, which is the first time I ever physically saw her. Yet she died when I was a baby, and all she would tell me is, "Eric, I love you, and I'm always going to protect you." And I've always felt her presence here, even with some stuff I've dealt with out there that's not very friendly. I've always felt her presence. Fast forward, when I was about 8 or 9, I had my very first UFO experience down in Forsyth, Missouri, and it was Christmas Eve. And I looked up and seen a row of blinking lights, and I told Mom we were heading back from Forsyth to Rogersville. We lived in Rogersville at the time. I said, "Hey, Mom, there's Santa." She goes, "Well, you better get to sleep, or he's not going to deliver presents." And this was back in the 80s. All this happened in the 80s. So I watched that row of blinking lights turn into a circle, start spinning, and shoot straight up. And that's my very first one. And then my very first Bigfoot encounter was up in St. Joe, Missouri. And great grandpa, and I was about 12, 13, great grandpa said, "Boy, don't go out in them woods. Momo's here." We grew up as Momo because I'm from St. Joe, Missouri. So we knew about Momo. And, of course, me, 12, 13 years old, "Grandpa, you're full of crap. You're pulling my leg. You're joshing me." So we're playing hide and go seek out in the woods in the cow field. And I run down the cow field, or cow path, and I'd done this big circle to go around my brothers. And then when I came back through a couple minutes later, there was a footprint about yay big sitting in the middle of that cow path. And it wasn't there when I ran through there a couple minutes before. Man, I turned around, hauled butt back to Grandpa's house. I said, "Grandpa, you weren't lying." He goes, "No, boy, I told you." That was my very first one. Now, I've traveled the world in the military. I've spent 13 years in the military, 4 deployments. I have been all over the world dealing with paranormal, supernatural, cryptid, just anything mythological, folklore, the bizarre, and just the unknown. And I've always had a passion for it. Well, I didn't know about cryptozoology, so that's why I say I'm an aspiring cryptozoologist, because I'm learning new things now instead of learning how I used to, which was hands-on whenever I was originally doing this stuff. So, I mean, it's been fun. It's been real fun. Like, Dogman is actually a fairly new term for me because I grew up calling them werewolves. And it was DA, who's a good friend of mine, good brother, fellow author, DA Roberts. He's the one that got me hooked onto the Dogman thing, which I started realizing there's a difference between Dogman and werewolf. And it made sense. So I go through things with history. Like when I'm doing my show, I like to bring the history into it, because if you don't know the history, then you don't know the truth of what we're actually dealing with now. Everything is a theory and a hypothesis. And the thing that you bring this into facts is you got to have the history along with joining all of us together with our theories and our hypothesis to get to the truth. And that's what I like to do.
Oh, Eric, I love that. Oh my gosh. So you have a long lineage of paranormal activity in your families, and probably being psychic and having that relationship and being attuned to the paranormal, just like I do in my family. We have a long history of that as well, including UFO and ET encounters and missing time and stuff like that. So interesting. I love that. And I too am friends with DA Roberts. Okay, he's a friend of the show, and he's a great guy. Him and Robbie both. I know Robbie's been on the show a bunch of times too. I know all those fellas. But yeah, we all have a love. I mean, I can't say I do love Dogman. Okay, I love everything. Okay. But I love Dogman stories, and so tonight the one that we're looking into is something that, I mean, people were sending me these pictures. That one picture that I showed tonight, that was actually my remote viewing target. And the two people that sent it to me both, well, the first one was like, "Don't show this yet because it's, you know, well, we're kind of still looking into it, but just wait, okay, like don't put it out there to the public yet. And so I'm a woman of my word, okay, and I was like, I will not show it. But I had not seen this before. Okay, I thought, well, maybe I'd seen it before, but I wasn't sure if I'd seen that one before, because I would have remembered that, because it looks like a baby Dogman. But it looked weird too at the same time. It looked really odd. It didn't look like what I would think a baby Dogman would look like. But what does a baby Dogman look like, Eric? You know what I mean? I don't know.
We don't really know. We
Exactly.
honestly, we don't really know, you know, which, you know, when you sent me that stuff, I was like, man, I can have a sense of realness to it, but it was real cloudy. And usually when something is cloudy, when you're trying to tap into it, usually means somebody's trying to hide something. So I was like kind of on the fence with it. And I mean, as far as psychic, I mean, yes, you can call that. We just, in my family, we just have a gift, you know, like my great grandmother Smith, who was full blooded Cherokee. She wouldn't even look at you and you was trying to find something. She'd tell you exactly where it was. You know, it's great. But when I seen that, I was like, man, I was stuck. I was like, it kind of looks real, but it really looks fake at the same time. You know, and we don't know what the baby Dogman looks like. To me, I mean, in my opinion, my theory on it, they look more normal like a regular wolf pup would. Just from the fact of all the encounters that you hear, even in Egypt, even in Rome, even in all that other stuff, they're very wolf-like. So I mean, to my opinion, they'd be that way, but I don't know. I'm no expert. I mean, they could look like that. I don't know. You know, so I found it interesting, but it was kind of weird, but that was cool.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of weird. Well, okay, so luckily for me, this was a blind target. Okay, so I didn't know what this target was because it was just a set of numbers. And so that's how I like to do my remote viewing. That's coordinate remote viewing. And so I'm given these numbers, and when I sit down, I actually got a lot of data off of whatever this target was. And so this is really interesting because, like I said, I did mention to the audience that I have been talking to the North American Dogman Project representatives a lot today. And that includes Kenny Thibodeau, Star Fox. You guys will remember him from me interviewing him on Spaced Out Radio. Also, Ryan Tremblay, who's been on the show, on the channel here. Jody Cook was a part of this, and Shane Michael Crisp, all friends of the show. And they have their own opinions on it. And we, after talking with them, and I wanted to give them all a shout out. I promised I'd give them a shout out tonight. Okay. Because I do appreciate all of them. And they do a lot of great work in the cryptid field. Okay. And that's boots on the ground and doing historical research and really digging into the cryptid research. Okay. And we need all of that. Okay. Like I'm a field researcher. I'm out there, boots on the ground. But I depend on armchair researchers and researchers of all kinds, because we have to have that in order to, and we need to work together. Okay, we need to work together, and that's kind of what we did today, just so the audience knows. But I'm going to go over my data with this, and I figured let's get this data out of the way, okay, for tonight, to let the audience get a feel of what I was seeing, and then we're going to get into the information I was given today. And then we're gonna just see where the conversation goes. Is that cool, Eric?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let me just let the audience know that the target is that picture. Okay, so it's just a picture. The target is this right here. Okay, and there was nothing more than that picture, and that's how some of my targets go. Okay, it's just like, well, sometimes it'll be like a picture, like, and it's usually in an envelope. Okay, like, you don't know what these things are. They'll be like the picture of the Statue of Liberty. Okay, that is target 1532765 You know what I mean? And I'm given the numbers. That's all I have. So that was what this was. I got that. It was a picture in the envelope, and it was those numbers. Okay, not those numbers. Okay, but it was some numbers. So what I saw when I got into this target was, and I know, like, we're looking to see if this is a real Dogman. Okay, that's what we want. And I'm not promising all the answers. Okay, I'm just telling you what the data was that I got from this. So some of my sensory data included hunting I wrote down hunting and hiding, and I wrote down territorial, busy, scattered, cover, scattered. I must have been hungry because I was thinking Waffle House apparently because I wrote scattered, covered. Okay, and that's how they do my hash browns. Okay, so, but anyways, I wrote down hungry, hiding, and territorial. So I wrote down. Okay, so because this is interesting, this goes deep, y'all. Okay, so part of my analytic overlay for this target, I love the dog. Okay, it's
Yeah,
I wrote down. So this is whatever is in this picture. I wrote down deer blind. I was clearly seeing something that had to do with hunting. Okay, hunting. I wrote down recovered bodies, scavenger, hunter. I wrote down rest area, feeder, territory. I wrote down marker, zone. I kept getting a whole bunch of like marker data, like things that were marked or something. I wrote down safe zone, safe space. Okay. But I wrote down hunting. I kept writing down everything that had to do with hunting, from hunting season, hunting license, deep woods, remote woods, hidden. But the interesting is I picked up on an animal. Okay, I picked up on an animal, but I did not pick on what type of animal. I wrote down bloody. Okay, this is my AOL. I wrote down blood, bloody, hunted game, wildlife, wild game, and I wrote down shotgun. Okay, which, by the way, this is a blind target. And if you guys want to see this picture, it clearly looks like this man has gone hunting. There's blood. There's a rifle. Okay, he's wearing camo. And so I think that I was 100% on target for a lot of this because I was seeing it, but I wrote down hidden, regulated, blood. But I was regulated was like hunting season, hunting. So, and shotgun. Okay. I also was picking up, I kept getting confused. I was getting confusion, a lot of confusion in this one. And I wrote down game warden, wild game, game on, running out of time. I actually wrote down the word migrants. Okay, so migrants is in my data, and cover up and case closed is what I wrote down. Okay, so there's a little bit more data than that, but okay, my takeaway from this is that I'm 100% on target with the hunting. Okay, blood, rifles, hunting, game wardens, all that stuff. I was there, but there's no mention at all of a cryptid or a dogman. I wrote down wildlife, wild animal. I wrote down wildlife and wild animal. Okay, and that's what I wrote down. So that's what I was seeing when I was remote viewing this. Okay, so that's pretty cool though. Okay, so I'm all about it. Okay, so that was my target. Usually when I'm doing a target and it deals with something that would be like a cryptid or something, a lot of times I will pick up on that. I'll pick up on like the origins of it and all that kind of stuff. But on this one, I was just mostly picking up on a wild animal, something that was bloody, and that it was hunting season. Okay, which is great. Okay, so when you go back, Eric, you find out what this is. It's potentially a little controversial, right? Because I had trouble finding. Okay, when this is after I remote viewed it, I'm looking for information on this thing. You can't find anything. You know, uh-oh, we lost Eric. So I'll just keep talking. But when you go and you do the research on this, you can't find a whole lot of information on this. But there's one website where I did find it, and it was on the Phantoms and Monsters website. Okay, and they had actually done a lot of research on this, apparently back about 10 years ago, and it included Linda Godfrey. Okay, and now you guys will remember Linda as being a pretty well-known Dogman researcher and investigator. I think she might have worked on the Beasts of Bray Road and some other cases. Okay, so Linda got involved in this, and so I'm gonna kind of read through a little bit of what was investigated, okay? Because I think it's Lon Strickler is who runs that website, and he did a lot of research on this. They were going through. I think he had Linda kind of investigated a little bit. They looked into this picture, And I don't know if I uploaded it, but they determined that the actual picture had not been photoshopped. Okay, so this is a picture that had not been photoshopped. I believe that the question was, the question became not if this was a real photograph, but was the creature in the photograph real? Okay, and by that I mean, was it a organic living creature at some point, or was it a movie prop? Okay, was it a movie prop? The background on it was a little iffy. Okay, it was a little bit iffy because they only had secondhand information about it. There was no firsthand eyewitness of this, just secondhand eyewitness or secondhand information. So inquiries were sent to Dogman cryptid researcher Linda Godfrey and Jay Bachochin, I can't pronounce his last name, of the Wisconsin Paranormal Investigators. This is according to Phantoms and Monsters website. Jay conducted an ELA analysis of the image to determine if it had been photoshopped or enhanced. It came back negative, and it was an original photo. They discussed the possibility of this being a mock-up photo. Hey, William. And so I think Linda had discussed that she thought it might be a rubber doll or some kind of prop for like a movie or a Halloween prop or something like that. Now it does look kind of it looks convincing, to me. And and here's the thing. After remote viewing this is a blind target. I did get data on this. Okay, I did get data. Whatever is in this picture, it was definitely there. Hunters, hunting, rifles, blood, game wardens, all that stuff was in my data. And I wrote down a wild animal there. Okay, so here we go. We're going to get back more into their research over here on this. So their probable conclusion here on this website at Phantoms and Monsters was that this is a dummy specifically constructed for photographic deception. And that was their conclusion on this. Now, upon looking at the data, I was like, well, Eric's getting his jump pack. So he's about to come back in a minute. We lost Eric on here. But so after analyzing the data, I think I was definitely on target. But the question to me still is this a real Dogman? Okay, is this a Dogman? Because all I picked up was a wild animal. And then we have that backstory from the Bigfoot Evidence website. Okay, my data just says a wild animal, and it puts you in the environment of whatever that was going on in that picture right there. Okay, but no mention of Dogman. All right, so I actually I'd contacted my friend who had originally sent me that picture, and I told him, I'm thinking about doing a show on this. I had to remote view this a while back, and I had been given this picture by someone else, and he was like, well, he's like, I kind of wiped my hands of that because I think it might be a hoax, is what he told me. And this was just yesterday, I think. He said, I think it might have been a hoax. And we do have Eric back. Let me pull him back up. Hey, Eric. There you are.
Sorry, guys. It's storming, so my satellite went out, so I had to get my little Verizon jump back, whatever that thing's called.
You're awesome. You teleported back. I like it. Okay. Well, I was just so I'm kind of going through the steps of my thought process on all of this and the evidence that we have and the research that other people have done on this. So I contacted my friend who had originally sent me this, and I'm not going to say his name because I didn't run this past him to talk about this. But I did tell him I was going to be doing a show on it. And he was like, yeah, do a show on it. He's like, but I wipe my hands of this because I do believe this might be a hoax. Okay, it might be a fake. That's just what he had kind of deducted from all this. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go forward with this because I have some interesting data on it too. And let's just kind of put it all out there. And Eric, I think this is important that we do put this out there because as researchers, We do get a lot of photographic evidence that we can't really prove. Yeah, I can remote view this stuff and we can get some data, but I still don't know if I really have the answers behind this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, and it's true. I mean, and it's the thing, you know, William and I talk about this all the time. AI has gotten so good right now that you really, really, really have to be careful. But you don't also have to worry about AI, and this is something we probably should hit more on, is props. People make stuff too. So I mean, that I never really thought about adding that in there as well, but that, I mean, absolutely, that's a possibility.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. So so my friend was like, well, I decided not to really pursue this because I think it could have been a hoax. And so what did I do? I started sending out messages to my North American Dogman project friends. Okay. And they sent their put the feelers out. Some of them were very familiar with this already. And man, I guess I'm just a little late to the party, Eric. I'm late to the party on this because there was at least, I talked with Brian Tremblay on the phone today, as a matter of fact. And he said, well, Jessica, this is something that, about 10 years ago, this came out and a lot of people wanted this to be real. Okay. I wanted this to be real. He was like, but someone had done some research and some digging on it. And it seems that that's a movie prop. And I was like, okay, good to know. Okay. Well, do you have proof of the movie prop? Does anybody have proof of this movie prop? Because I got some data that puts me at the scene, but I don't have proof. I don't have data of a dogman. Okay. But I do have data of a wild animal. So let's just kind of, I'm just trying to get some more information because my data is kind of vague on this. Right. And so Kenny Star Fox, North American Dogman Project, he did some research himself. And I guess it's time. I guess it's time to show what they sent me. Would you like to see it, Eric? I think I sent this to you earlier today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So here's my thing. I wanted to see, like, I actually, like, before I show what they sent me, I want to show you guys. Eric, I want to show you too. I started doing research on movie props of dogs. Okay. Trying to find something that looks like that dog. Okay. And there's few, those look, I mean, none of it looks like that dog, but I'm just trying to get a feel of like what a movie prop dog would look like. Okay. Like a puppy. These are all dolls. Okay. These are not real dogs, y'all. Okay. And I could not find anything that looked like that dog that was in that picture. But I was finding things that were kind of close. Okay. Kind of close because in my mind, I'm seeing like a husky puppy dogman. Okay. Or like a werewolf, you call dogmen werewolves. And a lot of people do, they kind of equate them to being the same, right?
Yeah, I did for a long time. I really did for a long time because I never knew the difference, and that was me being uneducated on stuff, and, thanks to people like D.A. Roberts, like William Nighthawk, Robbie and all them listening to this stuff and more. And then the more research I did dig into history, I got to realizing these are two separate entities. One is made and one is born.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, we talk about that. We talk about that a good bit here on my channel because there is a difference between like manifested beings, transformed beings, like humans transforming into something else. Because you can't really, I don't know if you can call that a cryptid. I'm the cryptid huntress, but I still like to look into other stuff too. But through black magic, through rituals, people, they say, can transform into beasts. So what this little thing that we're looking at, it looks like a dog, but it had human hands. Okay, it had human looking hands on it. So I'm going to just go ahead and let's put it all out there on the table because I'm a little confused on my data because it didn't have anything to do with the cryptid. It did look like what I thought I was seeing a wild animal in the environment. When I asked you, I asked you to come on the show today and you kind of gave me your thoughts. You said that it was very hazy. You weren't really picking anything up on it. And then I got this picture and It looks like a doll. Okay, it looks like a doll, and I think that's really interesting because, and they called it the puppet. This is what I was sent. So I don't know. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah. To me, it's almost identical. I mean, you can see the lines on the chest on the one that was sent to you. You can see the lines on the chest on this. The hair patterns are the same. The bare skin parts are the same. I mean, the facial expression, everything is the same.
Exactly.
I think that's why it was cloudy for me, is because yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Go ahead.
I think it's safe to say that that's probably a puppet. Okay, it probably is, and so that would be why I was not getting a whole lot of data on any kind of cryptid or anything, just like a little wild animal, because I'm viewing what I'm seeing, and like I said, I wrote down a wild animal. Okay, so I don't know. The only difference would be that tuft of fur on the neck, underneath the neck. It does look like there's a piece of fur missing right there. But my goodness, I mean, there's really no first-hand story. There's like a second-hand story of that guy holding that up. Now, maybe they took that picture trying to be funny, or for whatever reason, and they never meant for it to get out and end up on a podcast 10 years later when we're analyzing it. It might have just been a practical joke or something. However, we got people that are seriously researching things like Dogman and cryptids, and people don't know to take these things seriously or not at this point. So I don't know.
I mean, I can tell you from my research now. I mean, where I live at in Missouri, in southwest Missouri, not only with Niagara River that's close to my house being known for Bigfoot, it's also known for Dogman too. Which back in 1997-ish time frame, 98. I know it was before I left for the war. We had a large string of animal attacks on the River and W Highway, which we argued with Missouri Conservation, saying this is cougar. We have cougars on game cams, and Missouri Conservation's like, we ain't got no cougar here. We're like, dude, not only have I been stalked by one and seen them, and I've lost animals to them, we got them on picture. Dude, we have cougars here in Missouri. And they argued for a long time. We chalked it up as cougars. Well, the more I started researching about Dogman and how they attack things, and a cougar will jump from above and bite on the back of the neck. Our livestock had their throats ripped out. There was claw marks down the side and sometimes gutted. It makes me kind of lean towards maybe in the fact that we have Dogman along the Niagara River. It could have been a Dogman string of going on back in the late 90s. Don't know for sure. That's just me putting something together from over 20 years ago.
Wow.
In my current research.
Okay. Oh wow, that just reminded me. So I have done several remote viewing targets of unspecified animal attacks on people, and there were fatal attacks where they died, and I'm going to say like 60 to 70% of them, I do believe the data did confirm to me that they were big cat attacks. Now, when you look at how a cat attacks, and I've had to do like some serious research on how big cats attack people, and it is from the back. They go for the neck, they go for your throat, they go for the back of your head, and they crush you. And I was just showing my son, because I take my son out into the field sometimes, and we go on nature hikes, and I'm teaching him at tracking, animal tracking and human tracking right now. And so we have to know what's a threat in the environment, of course, as you know, Eric. And so I'm showing him pictures of cats. So, the DNR, the wildlife management, they're not always going to tell us that, or maybe they don't know. I think they do know that there are panthers out there and stuff. Probably not.
Yeah.
Right. But their mouths open so wide, and it's such a gruesome attack that a lot of times when people assume that there was a Dogman attack. A lot of times it's just a big cat. So
yeah, and it could be, you know, like I said, I mean, this was horses and cattle we were losing. I mean, we lost some sheep and goats too. Of course, around here, our primary livestock is beef and dairy cattle. People also have what they call hay burners, which is horses as well. So I mean, we had a lot of horses, a lot of cattle being attacked. I can't tell you what it is. I know for a fact cougar was here in that area. I know we had Dogman along the river. I can't tell you, but I mean, it just makes you start thinking now, hey, this is a lot of stuff. Of course, Missouri Conservation told us it was a pack of bull mastiffs. I was like, come on, man. You seriously going to tell me a pack of bull mastiffs are running around? A pack, let alone killing livestock? Come on. Yeah, so it's amazing what's old out there. I mean, but you're 100% correct on, we have to look at all aspects of what's happening. This you know, learning this new thing with what happened then is just another key into the puzzle of what actually happened. That was 20 years ago. I don't know if there's a way we can actually definitively say nowadays or not. To us back then, it was cougar. Yeah, that's actually a good point, William. That's a really good point on that, because I was thinking the same thing, because everything matches up just like she said, except for that one piece, which they can be added on. That is not uncommon for somebody out there trying to get clout or trying to get this or trying to get that, to add something extra to solidify or hide a defect that could expose them. That is something, when you're doing research out there, you really got to pay attention to that stuff. I mean, because you're looking here and I see everything on here that's on this doll, except for that one patch of hair, like, you know, like Jessica said. Everything else is dangerous. Not. I'm not saying that's a fake, but to me, the feeling I get, that's what I'm calling it, is a fake. I can't say 100% because I wasn't the one who took the picture. I wasn't there for it. I cannot 100% say it is. I can say my feelings is this. That's my feelings, just because I'm watching stuff, because that looks like a handprint of blood on the chest. It looks like somebody stuck their hand on it and smeared it a little. So you know, fake.
Okay, and plus the fact that the guy is actually, okay, it looks like he's standing in front of a Jeep or a side-by-side, and he's got his rifle, so like it looks official, you know what I mean? Like he's holding up something that he did just, you know, unalive, as we say on YouTube. Okay. So it does look that way. And I have no doubt, I do believe, because when I remote viewed this, I was at a hunting camp. Okay. I have no doubt I was on the premises of somewhere where people were hunting and stuff. So I don't think this is just like, but for whatever reason, like why would they bring a movie prop out unless they're trying to be funny? I mean, the guy looks like he's kind of serious. Okay. Well, here, let's look at it this way. Let's just do this just to play devil's advocate tonight. What if, and I'm not saying this is the truth, and I'm sure there's going to be people that take this soundbite and want to say, you know, make videos about it. But I'm just saying, let's play devil's advocate. What if this was a real Dogman pup, and then somebody made a prop that looks like it? Okay, I'm just saying, I'm not saying they did that, but I'm just saying, what if they did? Just to kind of cover up, because you know there's a big cover up going on, right, with the cryptids.
Yeah, no, you're actually on a very good point, because that is very possible. That is, you when we're doing this stuff, you have to vary in all possibilities, all realms of aspect on this. If you're going to be one side and go, this is how it is, and you're not going to change your mind. Native Americans, when they would look at something, would sit in a circle, and that way everyone saw it at a different angle. And then they would take a break, come back in and sit in another spot and look at an object at another angle. It gives you another perspective of that object. We have to take that same philosophy, that same theory, that same practice when we're researching this kind of stuff. We really do. Question everything. Absolutely, my brother. Question everything.
Question everything, my friends. Yeah, well, we have to question it. And like, yeah, I mean, I've done these shows plenty of times, and I'm putting out the data. And what I like to do is put out the data, and then we look at it from every angle. And then I I found that there are people that like to take like sound bites of what I say and put it out like that's what I said. Okay, like that was the only view I had on it. But see, that's what we like to do here on this channel is just to look at every angle of it. Because I mean, yes, okay, so the guys with the North American Dogman project, I love them. Thank you guys so much for doing that research and sending me that today. But you know, it's also my job to also think outside the box too, as to well, what if? Okay, just what if? And I'm not saying, because I mean the hands and everything are exactly the same as that puppet. Okay, everything is the same. The only thing that's different is that tuft of hair and the color's a little different. And yeah, that's a great point. The blood on that bloody, it's a bloody handprint. That's a human handprint. Okay, so it looks, it makes it look more staged.
No, for me, I'm a hunter. I live in the woods. You know, I've got my guests that I've dealt with, or I've lived with for 32 years. I call them my guests for a reason. We live together in peace and harmony. They do like to mess with me from time to time, but it's nothing malicious. It's just, you know, hey, I'm here, you know, type deal. But I hunt these woods. I gather these woods. I'm in these woods a lot. There's a lot of magic in these woods. I love being here. That's why I fought so hard to buy this property. You know, unfortunately, I was trying to buy it before Mom passed away, but that didn't happen. But I was able to buy the property because I have a connection here. So I'm a hunter. I mean, I hunt turkey, squirrel, coon, rabbit, deer. I mean, whatever I can put in my belly, I'm hunting that thing. I love to hunt. I love being in my woods, you know, with the fae, with everything else is out there. I love that connection to it. When I'm seeing that, I don't see signs of hunting because let's be real here, folks. A 12 gauge shotgun, which was sitting right there, if you, even with a slug, you shot something with 12 gauge shotgun, there's going to be massive amount of blood.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just how it is. You know, I use a 7 mag. I use a bow. Even with my bow, there is massive amount of blood. My 7 mag, massive amount of blood. Well, I found a 12 gauge, massive amount, and I don't see it in that. That's one of the key things I was looking at. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. Yeah, there's a lot of blood when you're hunting, and there wasn't a whole lot of, you know, that's something interesting that my son asked me when I was showing him these pictures. I guess it was yesterday. I guess we were looking at it, and I was like, "What do you think?" Because I like to consult with my 9-year-old, okay, on some of this because listen, he's got a fresh set of eyes. He's got a very just pure heart, and he's not, you know, skewed by a whole bunch of, you know, propaganda and stuff. Really, he looks at it and tells me what he thinks. Okay, and I can appreciate that. Yeah. And when he looked at that picture, Eric, the first thing he said was, "Where's the gunshot? Where's the bullet wound?" And I took a minute and I was like, "That's a good child." Yeah, where's the
mind of a child, y'all? I mean, just the mind of a child is an amazing creative thing. It really is. And they see things because their minds have not been corrupted as ours has throughout the many things that we've dealt with. We have got to one point here where they're down here. We got to get ourselves back down here to think more creative. We got to get back to that mindset of the child and picture things, imagine things, and things will click and shift, and all of a sudden, bam, right there's the picture, folks. I love the mind of a child. It's an amazing, amazing organ.
Yes. I mean, I just thought that was a really great point that my 9-year-old kid made. Where's the bullet wound? And I looked for it, not to say that it wasn't there, but the only blood that we saw on that creature was on that. And I didn't even make out that was a handprint until you said that. A handprint on its belly. It's okay. So
I missed it at first too. And I was like, wait, that's a handprint. That looks like somebody went like that, you know. It's amazing. I mean, I've done it with Juno. Juno has sent me stuff, and I've done a video on it. Not Juno. I'm sorry. Corey Cole sent me some stuff, and there was a lot of stuff he sent me when I did a video down there. So I was like, "Hey, what about this right here?" Or he's like, "I didn't even see that," you know. And then we'll get to talking about it, and we'll find more stuff. You sit in that circle, you see things at different perspectives, which brings the picture together as a whole. Yeah. It's amazing how you can do that.
Well, you know what I appreciate is bouncing ideas off of other researchers and having people like those guys that I talked to today with Ryan Tremblay and Star Fox and my son. I mean, different people, you know, and Barry Littleton, my friend that comes on the shows with me. We talked on the phone at least two or three times a day. And we had the best conversations about this because I was trying to bounce some ideas off of him because I was like, Barry, you know, there's nowhere in this data does it say Dogman at all. It just says a wild animal. I was like, I'm not sure this is real. You know, I've put in some words to the Dogman guys and they're about to get back to me and we're trying to figure out what this is. And it was really cool hearing everybody's different perspectives on it. And so, yeah, I think that I did personally, I have come to the conclusion. I do think that I think that it could be a fake Dogman. Okay. Cause it's just, unless somebody took that Dogman. And even Barry was saying, well, you came up with a wild animal. What if it is something that has been like a taxidermed animal? You know how they make like jackalopes and stuff? You know, like somebody will taxiderm something. They stick like body parts from another animal onto that animal. I know it sounds weird, but it happens. Okay. So I mean, you got to think outside the box.
Norma brought something up earlier, and I meant to say it and I forgot, so I'm glad she brought it back up. They actually make stuffed animals that look very realistic, and you can buy them. They're extremely expensive, but if you've got a little friend that's passed away, and you want to keep them, they can make this thing, and it looks just spot on to it. That's why, I mean, there's so many variables out there. That is one thing you got to look at as well.
Yeah. I mean, I love having this conversation tonight because we do have to look at it at all points. Because like when there's like a group of people that's like, no, this is definitely a fake. We've got this picture here. We got these pictures of these dolls where it's definitely fake. Well, okay, it probably is fake. 99, I'm going to say 95 to 98, 99% of me says that's fake. Okay, that is it. But then there's always that other. I'm a skeptic at heart too, and in a skeptic, I mean like I don't always go with the group.
Yeah.
So
you always got to have 1%. No matter how you believe one way or another, you should always have 1% for doubt. You never be 100%. You always need at least 1% doubt. Always.
Yeah, we gotta have that a little bit. But okay, so let's talk about the southern border a little bit. Okay, because we have reports coming out of, and I've talked about this on my channel before with Nick Sylvester, my friend who's in the Truther movement, was on my show, and we were talking about he was introducing us to the Dogman breeding program, the alleged Dogman breeding program going on, and werewolf breeding program, and Sasquatch breeding program, and we also were talking about the terror at the U.S. southern border, and he was telling us about a report of some people who were crossing the border, let's just say, okay, and there were groups of people who were being stalked by potential dogmen and attacked. And some of the Border Patrol witnessed it, and from what he said, like 2 out of 3 of them were not living at this moment. They were unalive mysteriously. Now, have you been hearing stuff like that?
Yeah,
because I got a lot of dogman reports down there.
Yeah, there's tons of that coming up since this whole how do I say it politely, whole ordeal started. There's been tons of these reports coming up how they're crossing over because there's Border Patrol agents that said it. There's people that came up and said, man, they hit us, and all you see is this, like, I'm trying to think of a polite way of putting this on YouTube, a massive K site. If y'all want to know what K means, I'll tell you in the chat, or I can tell you another time. But there's a massive K site there, which is covered in blood, which is common on a K site. And the Border Patrol people are seeing this. The people down there coming across are saying, yeah, this has happened here. There's so many reports of them hopping over and hunting them. It's bizarre how much that's went up. I mean, it's wow. Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking about something that rhymes with the word ill, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, there's just a whole lot of stuff going on. I mean, we were even getting into discussion about Dogmen and werewolves potentially being used by the cartels and stuff. I know, and it sounds wild to like the normal everyday person who doesn't talk about these things. But do you think that could be real life? I mean, having dogmen and cryptids working for nefarious purposes or as security detail for cartels and people in power?
I've made a, let's see, how do I put this without getting in trouble? So when I was in the Marines, I was SOC, Special Operations Command. I worked side by side with the SEALs. So we would spend a lot of time in a certain location taking care of a certain issue. And I can tell you that side of it is far more hair raising and intense and just, I mean, it's just, I can't, it's just like, compared to it is over in this kitty litter box. Totally different environment. If I had to pick the two that I want to be more safer in, I'll take the kitty litter box. We'll leave it at that. As far as them doing it, I can't say it's not possible, but I can't say it's how that. I mean, there are several points of reports of certain entities that has been said to take these and breed them and use them, but some will tell you they're uncontrollable. Some say they are not. I don't know. I never seen that when I was in, but the things I know from when I was in, I cannot leave that out of the realm of possibility of them doing it. Because I mean, I even though I had top secret clearance, there's still things way above top secret clearance. And there's things that's top secret clearance that I didn't even have access for. So you got to factor that in there as well. There's things that I try to look at and they're like, you need to quit. That's above your pay grade. It's like it says top secret. I got top secret. I should be Alexis. Nope. That's above your pay grade. And that's what they tell you. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on. So far as the big M and the big G working together doing something like that, absolutely. That is a very good possibility. Cannot say 100%. The cartel, with what they had access to and how they are, cannot say no, but I can't say yeah either on that. I don't have enough evidence to make a very strong suggestion. It's a realm of possibility for them guys. A higher realm of possibility for the other ones, still a possibility for them.
You can neither confirm nor deny, right?
Yes. Yeah, and part of it's because I just don't have that much knowledge on that part of it. So
Okay.
I don't have a lot of knowledge on. I know how things work. I know how things are kept from us. I know how things are done. I've slipped in and accidentally caught myself on some stuff that I shouldn't have, which was where I get backed out and told it's above your pay grade. And I have to no longer get access to it, basically. Not allowed to access it no more. I like a certain little program that people I really think need to get interested in. It's Project Looking Glass. Behind that daggone thing.
Oh,
that's just
I talk about. So I talk about Project Looking Glass a pretty good bit here on the channel. I actually had Frank Jacob on the show a while back. It was on Spaced Out Radio, but he is one of the top. I call him an expert on Project Looking Glass, and he came on my show the night before CERN was getting turned back on last year, and we were talking about the Mandela effect and timelines and shifting timelines and the chronovisor and all that stuff. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, these are very important breadcrumbs and things we need to be looking into. Okay, it's not just breadcrumbs, but
no, I mean, you see, there was more to have on that kitty litter box that people don't realize. We have gathered artifacts that's not of this world, and you have to be in certain energy fields, which can be either on the ground, in the air, or in the water, to be able to access a mirror. I'll just put it that way. A mirror that tells you around 1,500 different possibilities or outcomes. And if you study all 1,500 of them possibilities or outcomes, you can actually figure out when it's going to happen, do what you got to do to make it play in your favor. So this object actually comes from Sumeria, from the Anunnaki, and it's not of this world. None of the materials is of this world. And we have gotten it when we came in.
Okay. So
So
you're talking about Project Pegasus as well right now. There's a whole bunch of different time traveling projects that are going with Stargates. Dare I say Stargates?
Project Looking Glass deals with, yeah, yeah. There's plenty of proof in that. Hey, Robbie, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Robbie.
There's actually a lot of proof that's just that, and I mean, it's a very good possibility. I'll tell you, man, Sumerians, you know, there's a lot we can learn from history that you wouldn't think is possible that they did. You know, I did a show on the Bermuda Triangle. There's actually 12 triangles in this world. They're all lined perfectly, 6 above the equator, 6 below the equator. There's only 2 that's off, North Pole, South Pole. And it's talked about in ancient Sumeria how they used that to teleport around the world. There's a lot of things that's happened in history we don't know about. If you actually get in and research it, you'll find it. And that's why I love it, because I don't deal with, I love studying cryptids. I love paranormal. I love supernatural. I love all that stuff. I love every aspect of it. That's why I'm always into it. And the things I've seen while I was in the military, the things I've seen while I was researching is what brings me into this stuff. And I love it. I just really do. But there's a lot of history over there.
Oh man, I'm reading between the lines with a lot of what you're saying. So I think you've seen some stuff.
I have to be careful.
I know, I can tell.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff I can't say on here. That's why I'm trying to be cryptic on it, because I don't want to get your channel in trouble. So I do the same thing on William's show, I do the same thing on mine.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Listen, I'm pretty in trouble all the time. It's okay. It's not a big deal. We're here for the truth, you know, and we're here to try to figure out some of these mysteries. And man, I mean, this is right up my alley, Eric, what you're talking about tonight. Because it has a lot to do with this.
And the thing is,
go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's all connected. It's all connected.
It is. You know, and that's the thing, folks, is, you know, we're on the subject of Dogman tonight, okay? You can look back to ancient Egypt. Romans had fought Dogman. I mean, Sumerians have their stories, which comes to reason with Egypt having that, because, I mean, look at Sumeria was there. You know, throughout history, Native Americans will tell you, one of the old stories of Native Americans and Dogman and Werewolf actually comes from the northwestern part of the United States. And 2 brothers were out hunting, and they were very successful. Well, they came across an old man in the woods, and the old man asked for some food, and they're like, "Yes, we have plenty. Here's some food, grandfather." And he was so thankful for their generosity, he blessed them with the gift of the wolf. This gift of the wolf allowed them to transform into an actual wolf and make their hunts more successful. One brother used it for good and was able to transform between a regular wolf and a human. The other had misused his gift, and it forever changed him into what, if you actually look at it, is a Dogman. He is upright wolf full time, can never change back to human. So, and this is things that when you're dealing with magic or you're dealing with supernatural, you have to be very careful what you do. Extremely careful, because one wrong decision can ruin everything. And is that why we have? Is my internet? Okay,
you're good.
This could be why we're having this stuff here, and it's all in the realm of possibility. So I mean, you got stuff from Native Americans, Sumeria, Egypt, Rome. Vikings fought stuff too. I mean, Vikings came to Newfoundland, the United States, way before Christopher Columbus was even a twinkle in his daddy's eye. I had to think of it with a polite way of putting it. I have a very problem going NCO talk sometimes. Marine Corps ground NCO talk. So I'll have to pause and catch myself. But a twinkle in his daddy's eye. And they got ran out by what they call Skraelings. And if you actually look at the description of Skraelings, it's Bigfoot. Tall, hairy creatures, and they've used weapons. They were ran out by Skraelings. There's so many stories of all these types of creatures out there throughout history, folks. You know, for me personally, I've never actually seen a Bigfoot. I've seen footprints. I've seen structures. I've heard noises. I've heard them call to me. I've had them tap on my window when I'm writing one of my books. I've sat in my chair and swear to God they were looking through me in the window, but I couldn't see them because they're in the dark. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff. You know, in Australia, Shellwater Bay training area, I went to go in this home that they said was haunted by the settlers that was massacred by their Aborigines. Well, I stepped up on that first step and I just backed off quick because I had that warning. I need to stay out. That's how I learned about Yowie. Because I was talking to one of the Aussie soldiers. He goes, "Man, there might be a Yowie nest up in there." I was like, "What Yowie?" So he got to tell me about the Yowie, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to mess with that dude." I'm a pretty brave dude, but there's certain things in these woods. Like what I had a couple months ago was the first time I've ever had fear on my property. I don't fear what's in my woods. My guest will tell me when I need to stay out of the woods, and unless I absolutely have to go out there, I will stay out of the woods. But if I have to go out there, I'm packing my stupid pack, or packing my big boy knife, but they know that I go in there, get my business done, and get out. So I don't get messed with. But this, what I had a couple months ago, was the first time I've had fear on my property. 32 years I've lived out here. And I think it's because I just done a show about a certain little creature, and I think I've said the name too much. It's only my theory. I don't know why it came to me. So you have to be careful in this stuff. Anything cryptid, magical or supernatural, whatever it is, you have to be careful because these things are folks and they're out there. And if you do something wrong, you can call them to you. And some things you don't want to call to you. You really don't.
That's right. That's right. And William has a great point. He says civilization is built on top of civilization. History is not what you are taught. That is 100% right. Yep. I think that our history is completely different from what we've been taught here in the United States. And that's just from the ancient Egyptian settlements alone and the Viking settlements that are here. And there's all sorts of things like the Grand Canyon being filled with culture, stuff from cultures from all over the entire planet. And Asia, everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the pharaoh that ran out of Egypt. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that's where his tomb is, and there's a lot of stuff of Egypt that you can actually see in the Grand Canyon. I've done shows on giants and stone giants, talking about the flood, how the God or whatever God you want to worship, they're all the same. Every religion will tell you the exact same story. There was a flood that God was displeased and killed the giants. There's so many remains, and I've done 3 or 4 shows on this stuff, talking about this, showing pictures of these things that we think is mountains, and it's actually either a dragon that's been killed. There's actually one here in the United States, and one that actually goes through your state because it goes through mine too, and that is the dragon Kukulkan. And I've got photos from Google Earth of that. You got Typhon. I mean, you got all this other stuff, and then I've got pictures of giants that you think is a mountain, and you look at it from above, and you see the perfect silhouette of a woman. I mean, there's so many. Look at all your cultures. Hawaiian, that island, that Tafiti. They'll tell you the story that is the goddess, and she's resting. Learn your history, folks. Learn history.
Well, and they show us in cartoons, like that cartoon Moana. They actually show it's like the sleeping giant. This of the island. She makes up the entire island, and I think that we have like the sleeping lady mountain range. Okay, like there's a lot of sleeping giants, and actually William, who's in the chat, William Nighthawk, he and I think Dennis came on my show on Spaced Out Radio. We talked about petrified giants. That's a thing. It's almost like all these giants were just petrified, like something happened and they were all turned to stone. And it was really cool because I did another show where I had remote viewed an incident where some Russian soldiers were turned to stone. This isn't a CIA declassified document with the KGB. It's a KGB document where these soldiers were turned to stone when they shot a rocket at a UFO.
Oh,
okay. And so it was like the technology, whatever it was, when the aliens came out, they turned into an orb, and then they shot out an energy beam, and it turned all them into stone. Well, that got us thinking. Well, is this what turned all the petrified giants to stone? Something like that.
Is that what killed? Is that what unalived? Oh my gosh, it's in the Bible. When the destruction of. Oh my Lord! It just slipped my mind. She looked back upon the city when God destroyed it, and she turned to stone.
That was Ruth, I think.
Same. If you look at, yes, Ruth. If you see what happened to her, what she is describing, you listen to them soldiers, very similar.
Yeah,
Think outside the
she'll
box.
turn into a
Question.
pillar of salt. It's actually a pillar of salt, I think. But I don't know. But you did think about like all the stories throughout history of like Medusa turning people to stone. Anybody who looked at her, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's so many things that are so connected, and if we pay attention, you'll see it. When you open your eyes, you open your third eye, you'll see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of this stuff has a lot of similarity to it. You know, I always saw I mistaken it off the top of my head real quick because I've read so many of these stories, man, and I get things mixed up. Because I try to translate things not just in King James version, but I always throw the Torah out there. I always throw the Quran out there. Because if you look at them, they're all the same. And that's why I try to add a lot of this stuff in there when I'm doing history on certain things. But if you look at it, everything that happened to these people are very similar. So could it be? I mean, look at the Hindus. Hindus talk about a massive war that happened amongst the gods and the heavens, and it rained down upon the earth. And things were happening. Listen to other ancient histories; they talk about a similar thing that happened through time. It's amazing what you can learn. You know, it really. There's that. Speaking of which, I forgot that when we were talking about Dogman, was it Saint
Christopher?
He was known as the. Thank you. Look at him. I mean, there's a Christian side of Dogman or werewolf, however you want to put it, right there, even in Christianity. Because I talked about that with giants too. You know, giants are in the Bible, giants are in Torah, giants are in the Quran, giants in Samaria. I mean, look at Gilgamesh. I mean, the list goes on about stuff. So, I mean, throughout all this stuff, it's written for you to look at.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, don't ever take what I say with a grain of salt. Take it with salt and do your own research.
Yeah, a grain of salt. I like that. Well, in a lot of these stories that have some of them are like paranormal stories or things they're really odd. Like they're in the apocryphal text of the Bible too. So they're not even in like the original like version, you know, that everybody knows. They're in the apocryphal text, which I find interesting.
Yeah. One of my favorite ones, which is left out of King James, is the Book of Enoch. I love the Book of Enoch. I actually got it on my bookshelf over here. I love the Book of Enoch. That's one of my favorite things, especially when it comes to UFO type stuff. I really like the Book of Enoch. It comes to giants. I like the Book of Enoch. It's there's things you can study, and you just got to study it, but don't just study one. Study everything out there if you want to learn it. You know, that's just my suggestion. That's what I like to do. So, allergies are
me too.
Kind of here lately.
Oh yeah.
Wolf was hungry.
Question everything. Yeah. I mean, gosh,
scared, Blade?
Do what? What, Eric?
Glades, he's scared. Glades creatures scared silly. I'm like, what are you scared of, Glades? Come on, I know you better than that, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and this is something, if you guys show last weekend, done a show on Lilith, me and William got to talk about something, which I connected, you know, Lilith with the vampires and stuff like that. But he also brought up something I never really considered, and that is the giants as well, and the connection between Lilith and Lucifer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I put this together? And if you think about that stuff, it fits. So I've got to do some research on that. But yes, William, I forgot about that actually, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people don't know Lilith was Adam's first wife. She was created from the dust, the same as Adam. Whenever she decided to be on bottom during intercourse, she left Adam and the Garden of Eden. And when she did not come back, God sent 3 angels after her. And they found her in the Red Sea, and she refused to come back. And then she was cursed from then on. But she survives off the souls of children. She is known to be the death of children, the death of pregnancy. So, you know, miscarriage or a woman dying during birth, children dying at birth, is all tied to Lilith. And you can find Lilith throughout a lot of ancient history. A lot of it. So, I mean, that's a very interesting thing. But we got to talking about that, and I was like, oh, dude. And we just kind of hit that up a little bit on that show because I was like, that fits, man. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. So I got to do
Yeah.
some more research on that.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Man, I know. So much more of these things are connected than we can ever imagine. And we talk about a lot of I mean, even the connection between like what's going on. You mentioned like the soul, surviving off the blood or souls of kids and things like that. And I mean, and that has a connection also to like some of these reptilian reports that we get. And I did a show last week on the secret societies and shapeshifters and the satanic rituals that are going on in all of our pop culture right now and on stage at like Taylor Swift concerts and stuff. I mean, it's gotten pretty much right out there in our faces. I mean, they're not hiding it from us anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, and I say this all the time. If you want to know the next big thing to be revealed, watch Holly Scrooge. You'll have shows, you have commercials, you have movies, you'll have entertainment, all based on what's fixing to come out next. It happens every single freaking time.
Or The Simpsons.
Since the revelation. I'll hit you up, brother. There goes my internet again. Oh, the storm is playing havoc.
Yeah, we have a little spotty internet. It's okay. You're still here. We can still hear you. Yeah.
But this stuff is fascinating. And how I came across, I didn't know about Lilith either. I grew up in a Protestant and a Baptist family. Were actually Mormon. And my mother's mom and dad was expelled from the Mormon order. Now, some of my family are still traditional Mormon. Some of them are modern day Mormon. So I grew up around that, but I never grew up a part of that, if that makes sense. So I grew up as a Protestant and a Baptist. I usually attended one of them two churches, and I never knew about Lilith. 12 years ago when I was researching, because I'm like, why does people think the way they do? I'm always fascinated how the human mind works and why people come up with this stuff. So I was on the kick of werewolf and vampires. And that's how I came across the story of the Native Americans. That's how I came across where Lilith was doing that research 12 years ago. And I was like, holy crap, she's the first vampire. It's amazing what you come across.
It is. Okay, Outside Tesseract is asking, is it true the White House Foundation has sacrificed blood? Like, I don't want to say it's just blood in it. Yeah. I don't know. I've not heard that. That sounds terrible. I would hope not.
So there is a certain thing that's called an elixir of life. And I'm trying to think how to say this without getting you in trouble. So
okay.
I've got to dance around this very, very lightly. Certain things are taken from homes. Certain things are put through some hellish stuff to create this fear and this stuff that happens, which produces this liquid, and it actually is considered the elixir of life. It keeps you young. That's why certain people, well up in their age, look like a heck of a lot younger when they actually were, until a certain individual came in, and all of a sudden ages started really playing havoc on certain people. So yes, that is the thing that's happened on that. I forgot who said that. I'm sorry. I got to look that up again. Who was that who said that? Because I don't want to leave out.
What was it? You talking about who left a comment?
Yeah. Oh, outside.
Outside Tesseract.
Yeah, outside
right here.
that. So yeah, outside Tesseract. You're pretty close to that. I have to be very careful what I say, because you say certain stuff like that on this platform, it will get you in trouble and get you kicked off. I'm working on trying to get lives where I can go on another platform that I can talk about more stuff, more open. Unfortunately, with live stream, it's not letting me do it yet. So I'm working on that, because I have to dance around things. But I can tell you, you're pretty spot on.
Oh wow. Oh my gosh, there's so much weird blood ritualistic stuff going on, and that includes like conjuring up werewolves and stuff. And so it makes you wonder, like that picture that we were talking about tonight of that little thing. It looks like a baby werewolf, but when you think about it, a werewolf is a human transformed. If that were to be a werewolf, it would have to be. I've never even thought about a kid transforming into a werewolf. Is that even possible?
It is possible. I mean, you look at the English. The English will tell you that the first time a werewolf was created, I can't remember the name because this was several years ago. I looked this up. He went to a fork road and made a deal with Lucifer, and that was where their first version of the werewolf came from. But you actually study like Native American stuff and other cultures and dealing with black magic, you have that coming about as well. Most prominent one people will think of nowadays is a Rougarou. A Rougarou is a werewolf that's made from magic. Hence the saying, werewolves are created, dogmen are born. There's a difference between them. That's why a werewolf has a lot of like human skin. You can see that human features in them more so than you can a dogman. There's a difference between two. So, I mean, dark magic is played into that a lot. I can't say that 100%. That's what my research comes from and tells me is this is how it is. And that's where I've came to distinguish the two. Is through that kind of research.
What do you think about that? It's something I mentioned earlier tonight. I had mentioned the cryptid breeding program, the potentially, and I know you worked in the military and stuff, and I'm not asking if you have any knowledge of it, but is that a possibility that our government or an agency, I'm not even saying our government, let's just say an agency of some sort, is doing some sort of breeding program with cryptids potentially to use as assets in wars and things like that?
Well, I mean, the reason why I said, like I said earlier, that's a very good possibility. I've been stationed in different military bases around the world. Some of the most common places I've had some very weird encounters when it comes to cryptid is around military bases. There's plenty of stories coming out about military using them. Some saying they can be controlled. Some saying they can't, saying that werewolves are more controllable than dogman because dogman is more animalistic where werewolves has a lot of humanity to them. Plenty of reports of that coming out there. And I can tell you there's a base not too far from you if you're kind of interested called Fort Benning, Georgia. That if I
do my research around there. I do research down there. That's near the Troop Herd Corridor. Yeah. There's a lot of cryptid reports. Yeah, down there.
Yes. I was stationed. There's a reason why I stopped. Well, whenever I transferred there, I went to Fort Riley, Kansas. And finished out my active duty side there before I went to Leavenworth as a combat aviation instructor. So, and I can tell you, both them places have some extremely weird things that happen around them bases. And, and it's not far from Robbie too. And I've mentioned it to Robbie before. It's like, you really need to go up around Fort Benning if you ever get a chance, because I can tell you from my times at nighttime out there, there's a lot of crap that goes on at Fort Benning, Georgia at night. A lot of stuff. At Fort Riley, I used to fish the tank ponds along the tank trail. About my third time being ran out of there or something that I couldn't see. And if you know anything about Kansas, there ain't a whole lot of trees, folks. So if there's something there, you should have been able to see it. And I can't see it. I stopped going to the ponds at the tank trail at night. I do it during the day. There's a lot of things happening. I mean, look at all Wendigo cases and Dogman and Bigfoot and all this other stuff that happens around military bases. I don't know what it is about military bases. Is it because they're breeding this stuff? Is it because they're trying to do this stuff? Yeah, I'm telling you, Robbie. Oh my gosh, dude. The only reason why I'd want to go back down to Fort Benning is to do an actual investigation instead of what I did when I was stationed there. Oh my gosh, dude. There is tons of stuff around there. Fort Riley, Kansas is another one too. But yes. Yeah, that's what I was trying to hint at there, William. There's a lot of that and a lot of Bigfoot activity around Fort Benning as well. There's also a lot of activity, a certain little reptilian style people around there too.
Oh my God.
As well.
Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, so I can't confirm that at Fort Benning and at Fort Stewart, which is also in South Georgia, there are a lot of cryptid reports of cryptid sightings. A matter of fact, okay, so this is not in Georgia, but David Pardue is one of I go out and do Bigfoot research with him out in the field and paranormal field research. He's going to be on the show Saturday night, and he has video evidence, photographs of a portal opening up, and like what looks like the little girl that lives beside him. She did not have any idea that he had captured this on film. It's like a reptilian. She said that she had seen a a man with a T-Rex head crawling out of the ground in that same location. Okay, she won't go outside at night anymore.
Draco?
We're going to be talking about that this weekend. There are so many reptilian sightings right now, too. And I don't know if he's near an army or military base though. But
well, I mean, you got 3 different types of reptilians you're going to deal with. You got the interstellar, which is the alien style, the interdimensional, which is the ones that travel between dimension to dimension. Then you have the terrestrial ones that live underground. So a lot of reports that I've seen, your terrestrial ones are more animalistic, where your interdimensional or your interstellar ones are more logical, more thinking a little bit better. Most of your cases on them ain't very pleasant. either one of the 3, most of them ain't very pleasant. So yeah, I mean, you'll be surprised what you find there. Yeah, you really will be. I mean, I've heard of. I actually want to get back down there to do some research around Fort Benning, because the more stuff I learn, the more like I think I've dealt with a lot more down there than I realized at the time.
Probably, because
really
it's
do.
actually they have so that area has one of the highest concentrations of alien abduction reports than anywhere in the South. I don't know if it's the United States, but it's definitely in the South. So hey, next time you feel like doing that, holler at me. I'll take you to some spots down there, and where we do some research, because we have a lot of activity. My son saw his first Bigfoot in that area a couple months ago.
Oh, dude,
so
yeah. I mean, it's funny you say aliens too, because the majority of, I mean, I've had UFO experiences outside of military. Most of my UFO experiences have been around known and probably not so well known military bases. There's a lot. Hey, Roxanne, sweetheart, good to see you. There is a lot of UFO activity around military bases. There really is. I remember one time, this is funny. So me and TJ, I'll just call him TJ. I don't want to say his name. So me and TJ were doing fire watch at boot camp at Fort Benning, Georgia. And it wasn't San Diego. We weren't at San Diego. We were at Pendleton. I was trying to remember if it was Pendleton or Ago we was at the time. But it was Pendleton. We were doing fire. No, it was Ago. I'm sorry, because I remember the airport. We were at Ago at our barracks doing fire watch. And TJ goes, "Hey, T, come here." I was like, "What?" "Hey, DA, what's going on, brother?" I was like, "What's up, dude?" He goes, "Dude, you got to see this." I was like, "What's up?" So we go over there and look, and you see a light here and a light here. And they kind of follow each other around. And then all of a sudden, this light started spinning around. And then all of a sudden, another set came up. And we were watching this stuff for about 30 or 40 minutes on fire watch. Thank God our DI didn't wake up, because we got our backsides in a whole lot of trouble. But we literally spent like 30 or 45 minutes watching these lights dance around Ago. So it was weird.
Well, there's a lot of UFO activity. I mean, everywhere we go to do cryptid field research, we have UFOs. We have orbs. Okay, orbs are like this huge deal. Like there's so many different types of orbs and stuff, but they do accompany Bigfoot sightings and I guess Dogman sightings too, but definitely ET sightings and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I've had my own fair share of those experiences.
Yeah, I've never experienced it on the cryptid side of it, but on orbs, I've had a lot of experiences on the paranormal side dealing with them. The fact I'm trying to get a video released of an investigation that DA and I did at the Shaved Beaver Bar in Everton, Missouri, and I've caught a couple possible orbs dealing with that. One of them shoots right over my left shoulder, just quick. And a couple of them kind of come down and move around. I can't definitively say those are paranormal orbs, but they are interesting and they are orb-like. Yeah. So that's been my experience. I mean, but then again, you listen to some of the fairies, and a lot of these fairies, sometimes they're described as an orb shape as well. So the possibility of them being around cryptids, I can't deny that, because look how many encounter fairies that's described as being orbs. They live in the woods too. I mean, they're all part of nature. Could they have been one following one around? Absolutely. I mean, I can't deny it.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're starting to like kind of, like you said, we're putting the puzzle pieces together a little bit by sharing all of our stories and kind of melding them. I'm not saying melding them all together, but just sharing the story so we can kind of figure some of this stuff out. I mean, I have guys on my teams that have had cryptid sightings at the Army bases, at the Marine bases, all the different military installments. One of my teammates lives up near, he grew up near Mount Vernon, I guess, up in DC, and encountered the Mount Vernon monster when he was a kid. So I don't know. That's something that I have definitely taken an interest in. That is military bases. And that's why I was asking you about, what do you think about the cryptid breeding programs and stuff? And if these cryptids could be working in conjunction for our government or some sort of agency, because they do seem to have some sort of a connection,
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely in that realm of possibility. I mean, like I said, I can't definitively 100% yeah, but I can tell you that is well in the realm of possibility. Well in there, because there's just too much stuff going on. I'm going to be on in the Veil next week about portals. Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, I will never deny there's portals. There's plenty of history talking about portals. Do I associate cryptids with portals? Not so much. Then it's just my experiences, my research, not so much. Do I believe they can accidentally go through one? We've been known to accidentally go through one. So, I mean, that is definitely a realm possibility. But I cannot say no, they don't. It's just my experiences, they're not the same. I believe in the adaptive camouflage. Just because I've seen, I mean, DA's shown it. We watch one coming across, he stops, and all of a sudden he disappears. If my fluffy butt could still fit in my Marine Corps camo, I could do the same thing. You'll see me till I stop. But once I stop, you can't see me no more. Adaptive camouflage. But my fluffy butt can't fit my camos no more.
Man, I mean, I wish I could fit in my jeans from when I was in college. Okay, like I wish. I still keep them just in case, because I know I'm going to lose that way. I'm going to fit back in them to my pre-baby days. Okay, I know I will one day. So I'm just waiting. I just hadn't done it yet. But I feel you. But yeah, it is adaptive camouflage, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's just, I don't know. I mean, there's so many possibilities. I can't deny and I can't confirm. I can just tell you my theories, my hypothesis. That's all I can do. That's the way it is. And I got to hit my good brother at William in a little bit.
Oh yeah, we got DA Roberts in here. We got DA and Robbie in here tonight, and William. Good night, William. It's good to see y'all. I'm so glad we got so many great people in the chat tonight. This has been fantastic. Now, okay, I'm not even going to press you about the stargates and the portals and stuff, because my mind is going 100 miles an hour inside my head right now. Okay, to ask you questions, but maybe I'll talk to you another time about all that. But Project Looking Glass.
One way.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, do some research on ancient Sumeria when you're wanting to learn some of that stuff there, on stargates, Project Looking Glass, and stuff like that. That is a good place to start your research. Is ancient Sumeria.
Okay.
Yeah. Hamilton, Robin, you're 100% right.
Oh yeah.
Change your frequency. So that is Urso. That is a very good theory there, because I've talked about that a lot on frequencies. I'm big on frequencies because nature is a frequency. We're built with frequency. Certain frequencies can heal you. Certain frequencies can destroy you. So I believe, when I go out and visit my guest, I've always got a good thought in my head, a good part in my heart. Frequency is very, very important to me. That's my opinion, my theory, through Native American side of it, through a lot of other ancient stuff. I'm very big on frequency, and if you don't have I believe, this is my theory, my opinion. Once again, if you very negative frequency and you go out dealing with stuff, bad things are going to happen to you. You need to keep more of a positive frequency. Now, you can have all the positive frequency you want to, and if something's just bad, it's bad, and it'll come after you. That is also very well in that realm of possibility. There's been plenty of cases of that too. So or so that's yeah.
That's something that we're taught. I've been through a lot of training, okay, with the cryptid field research and stuff, and we do a lot of like camouflage awareness and things like that, and even with the remote viewing training and stuff, it's all about energetics, right? It's energetics. It is making yourself in. I
Yeah.
mean, it's literally you can make yourself invisible, okay, and that's maybe that's what the cryptids are doing, making themselves invisible. They're right there. They're right in front of you, but you just can't see them. I mean, when we were doing our camo training and stuff, the head of my team, he was stand right there. I mean, there's just certain places just right out of your eyesight where you can stand and nobody's going to see you. Okay. So,
Well, like we talked before in the backstage, tapping into somebody's energy or their aura, whatever you want to call it. Frequency is another term. You can actually tell a lot from a person by tapping into that. So, there's an old Native American proverb: when you're out hunting, do not think about hunting, because your thoughts soar like arrows through the sky and they can pick that up. So, like when I go hunting, I don't think about, hey, I want to get this big buck. I want to get this doe. My thoughts are blank. So that is possibly, just look at that aspect of it.
ooh, you guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
This is some actual really serious, great information tonight, because you're saying stuff that like I actually had almost forgot. I mean, this is stuff that I've learned over the years and I've been taught before. And so I have not heard anybody else repeat that kind of stuff. That's true. And our thoughts do become things. And I'm all about manifesting and stuff. And I mean, I can hear people's thoughts. Literally, I really can. I can hear people's thoughts from across the world sometimes. It's just all part of that telepathy. And if we don't think the animals don't have that telepathy, I mean, that's how a lot of the cryptids communicate, and that aliens. Anytime I've had more than one encounter with ETs, and it was telepathic communication.
Yeah. Look how many times Bigfoot or even Dogman has done the very same thing. I like I said, there's times I get warnings that I need to stay out of the woods. So unless I absolutely have to go out there, I won't. Is that how they're telling me? That is very well. To me, it's a feeling. Like when I had that incident, when we had the research team out here for the show that I was on, the documentary I was on, when we was leaving the woods, that same feeling hit me, but it was, in a way, it was kind of different. I don't know how to describe it, but it was like, what's going on here, dude? Who's these people? Why do you have them here? And my activity seemed to slow down from then. I still had it, but not near the level I was having it before. Could I have upset them? Could they have been telling that to me through my frequency or telepathically, however you want to put it? I don't know how it is. It's just, folks, all I can tell you is it's a feeling you get. And that's, for me, that's how I know it. That's how I describe it. It's a feeling.
Yeah, it's your gut. It's your gut instinct, and that is your primal nature. Okay, like that is us. Your gut will get you out of bad situations. You just got to listen to it. You got to trust it. You got to come to a point to where you trust your gut, because that's going to save your life. It could potentially save your life one day, especially in these times, this day and age. We need to be able to trust our gut, and so we got to have a healthy gut. I know. I'm about to start preaching here. We got to have a healthy gut. Okay, and that means like eating good food, and we got to decalcify those pineal glands, right, and stuff, because we need to be able to trust our gut at this point.
Don, you bring up a good point. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Don brings up a good point here. I've actually heard that on several different occasions, actually. That is not a very uncommon phrase right there. I think even DA and Robbie has talked about that before too, if memory serves me correctly, which my memory is not as good as it used to be, and it could be my gut, but I'm learning to eat better. But every now and then, I'll tell you, them fatty cakes look good, and my fluffy butt's got to have one. That's why I'm close to the damn stage, but I'm just not there yet. Yeah, it is, but Lawana, I really believe that they do the same thing. Okay, so we were talking backstage. Whenever we were hunting drug cartel and pirates, I shouldn't say hunting. When we were looking for drug cartels and pirates, you learn to tap into another aspect of your life. So you read their energy, you watch how they talk. You don't really listen to how they talk, but you do at the same time. A person will tell you a lot without actually telling you. So you got to look at how they move. You got to look how they act. You got to look how they speak. You got to look how they say what they say. You got to tap in. It's the best way I can say is you got to tap into that energy, and that energy tell you, hey, they're full of crap. And usually that's where you go, okay, tell. We need to tell. Or you go, okay, let that one go. He's not going to help us, but this one here will. We need to tell. So it's that kind of stuff, man. I don't know how else to explain it. For me personally, like I said, it's just a gift my family has. I've just kind of been to it. Like my mom, before she passed away, she would need something and I would feel it and I'd call her. And my second wife was pregnant. I was in Iraq on my third tour in Iraq when she was pregnant with my oldest one. I knew she was pregnant way before she told me because I felt it. And I was over in Iraq and she was here in Missouri. You feel them things. You pick that stuff up. Yeah, you do, Jason.
Yeah. Well, okay. Adam has an interesting question. He's asking, are there native stargates? So like, is that like Native American, I guess, like something that the Native Americans actually used, or native to here, our country in the United States? I think there's some stargates
William
here.
Nighthawk. There could be. William Nighthawk would know more about that than me. I don't know of any Native American ones. I just know of natural portals on the earth that teleport you from one part of the continent to the other. I do know that. But as far as Native Americans and Stargate goes, I'm not 100%. William Nighthawk would probably be a way better person to ask on something like that. He's everything I've learned on my Native American side. I mean, my primary bloodline is Norwegian. We hail from Ragnar Lothbrok through Ivar the Boneless. Both my Testerman side and my black side are from Norway. My Testermans were Yorkshire, Oxfordshire, England. Days of dead, ED. That's what medicine wheels are supposed. That's I was kind of thinking that DA, but I didn't want to say that because I wasn't 100% because I was trying to remember. And DA's spot on. I just didn't want to say that because I don't have enough information on that. But that is one of the theories, because the medicine wheel, there's a reason why, like I keep this as a circle. We're all in part of a great circle of life. In the medicine wheel, you got 4 directions. You have birth, you have childhood, you have adulthood, and you have old age. And we all complete the circle. Okay. There's a lot of powerful medicine in the medicine wheel. There's other theories behind the medicine wheel too, but William is really good when it comes to that.
Yeah. I think William turned in for the night.
He did. I'll talk with him. I'll talk with him tomorrow. But yeah, I heard a lot of that too, DA. I'm just not as knowledgeable on that part of it. So that's why something like that, I really don't want to speak a whole lot on because I'm not that knowledgeable on it. But thank you for the information, DA. That's awesome. Sunburned blood for a hammer to strike the Vikings. Yeah, I carry Gungnir with me. If you believe some of the sagas, Ragnar was the son of Odin. But, I'm a warrior. And I also carry Gungnir, or I carry Mjolnir with me a lot. My chain broke for Gungnir, so I took sinew and got my own Nordic rune beads and some other stuff and redone Gungnir. So I wear that a lot. But yeah, I agree. A lot of stuff you said, DA, like I said, I've heard that, but I don't want to speak on it because I don't know enough. I just know the Sumerian side of it, which, Sumeria covers Iran, Persians, stuff like that. A lot of them have that in there. Egypt, all that's in that area. That's the ones that I know. But I will get with William Nighthawk and ask him about it. We may have to do a show on it.
Oh, yeah. I can foresee you guys talking about that this weekend on your weekend morning brew. That's such a great show. Gosh, I love tuning in and having my coffee on the weekends and listening to you guys. Yeah, this is an interesting comment actually from Don Moore, too, asking, he says, my friend in Virginia was called to a property with a portal by a tree. Now, trees are also known to be portals as well. It said his cow had stuck its head through. It activated during bad weather, only visible from the front, and a walkie-talkie was thrown through, but nothing was heard. That's interesting. Just a portal opening up.
Yeah, I know the Fae folk. So the Fae folk are known to use portals. Now, a lot of people associate the Fae mainly with Celtic Island, Scotland, even in England. But like I'm going to talk a little bit about that someday. The Fae are found all over. We have Fae here in the Ozark Mountains. There's actually a lot of Fae in the Ozark Mountains, and I've got pictures of trees that will show you the different the Fae that lives here. And so the down and dirty, quick educational part of that. If you have a tree that looks like a face, I forgot what fairy that is off the top of my head. I'll have to get to my notes. But that is a Fae. There's a Fae that lives in there. I think it's the Downy. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look at my notes again. But they're known if they're living in that area. Yeah, that's what I was talking about that earlier today. Yeah, and that's why I'm doing a show on that Sunday about the magic of the Ozark Mountains. Folks, the Ozark Mountains are the oldest mountain range in the United States. There's a lot of old and strong magic here in the Ozark Mountains. I think that's why we have such a high paranormal, supernatural, and cryptid activity in the Ozark Mountains, because there's so many things here. There's so much magic here. It's unreal. And if you guys have ever watched my show, I talk about there's two places in Missouri that I have a very strong pulling to, and both of them are in the Ozark Mountains. That's my property here, and that's Pineville, Missouri. For me, when I feel that magic, I feel it stronger here and there. And I talk about that often. And if you listen to stories of the old Ozark Hill folk, they'll tell you about the healing properties of the Ozark Mountains. And there was a Dr. Otto, also known as Wizard Otto, who nobody really knew his name, but he was healing people all the time. And he healed them through the magic of the Ozark Mountains. So, I mean, and it's not just the Ozark Mountain, folks. Don't get me wrong. I talk about Ozark Mountain because that's where I live. I've lived my whole life around the Ozark Mountains. The Appalachian Mountains are the same way. Appalachian Mountains, you got some old magic. The Rocky, all your mountain ranges, and part of that, could that be because of giants? Could that be because of the Fae? Could that be because of natural energy? Every single one of them is a possibility. I tell you that the magic here is very, very strong and very ancient. That might be why we have so much of this activity out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's just my theory.
All the mountain ranges, absolutely. I mean, I do my research in the Appalachians, which go all the way from like Maine, by Canada, all the way down into middle of Alabama, basically. And so we do a lot of our research there. It is, I mean, we have reports of everything from, of course, Bigfoot to modern day dinosaur sightings, okay, to witches, to you name it, Dogman, werewolves, a lot of ghosts, okay, just pretty much any kind of cryptid you could think of. We've got them there. And I want to take a quick minute to thank the people who have sent a super chat today. Kathleen Michael, thank you so much for that super sticker. And Cat Chaser, you too. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Both of you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I'm very. Do you think that a lot of cryptids are from over engines coming together, causing more and more? That is one theory that William and I talk about, Jason. Ever since CERN fired up, it seems like the paranormal. Now, I posed two questions to the audience when we talked about this. The first question is, when CERN fired up for the first time, I've noticed an increase in paranormal, supernatural, and cryptid activity. So the fact that two dimensions colliding together causing this is a possibility. Yeah, that's very well a possibility. My other question I posed to the audience is, we have gotten away from the old practices. So I don't know if you all remember, growing up, you used to have wrought iron in cemeteries or even around homes. Wrought iron is to keep things out or keep things in. How many cemeteries do you find nowadays that has wrought iron around them? Could that be why we're having, on the paranormal side of it, even the supernatural side of it, more encounters, because we're not back to the ancient ways of doing things? There's a reason why throughout ancient history, wrought iron was to keep paranormal and supernatural out. As far as the cryptid side of it, I don't know on that when it comes to wrought iron. So yeah, I mean, the fact of two dimensions colliding together and causing an increase in that is well in the realm of possibility just because of accounts. The other part of that also, I said, because I play devil's advocate on that as well, could it be the fact that more people feel safer talking about these encounters nowadays than they used to, and that's why we're getting more of these cases coming out. Also, a very good possibility of why that's happening. You know, I kept my stuff quiet.
Yeah, it's definitely a combination. Oh, yeah. I mean, I waited over 10 years to come out with my research and to go public with my Bigfoot stuff. You know, not talking about it. It wasn't as widely as accepted as it is today to talk about this and to be the weirdo. You know what I mean? To be the weirdo that had the Bigfoot experiences and seeing ghosts and ETs and things like that. Yeah, we have a question from Adolf. Ask him if you get a certain feeling to go in a certain area to explore. Like, are you ever pulled to an area, Eric, to go explore?
Yes. Let me turn my light on. You'll be able to see it easier. I'm doing purple lights for you today, Jessica. So when I do get pulled to certain areas for investigations, but also because your fae folk or your supernatural, if you're good to the land, they like to gift you things as well. Last time I was out in my woods, this is when I was testing my knee out. I was recovering from a knee injury. I felt a pull to pick something up. So to answer your question, yes, on both cases, as far as going to an area, I feel the energy. And then that's why when I was asked to come in and do that paranormal investigation at Shaved Beaver, and I called DA, he's like, hey, dude, you want to come to me? Because I felt it. I'd been there prior and I felt it. In the 3 locations that I said that I felt the strongest of the paranormal activity was also the 3 places that he said the highest activity was. And I'm not going to spoil it because there's more than paranormal there. I'll leave it at that. But when you're out in the woods, people tell you not to pick things up. And I'll agree with you 100% on that. But there is occasions when you're gifted something and you'll feel that pull the same as you do to a paranormal or supernatural location because it's the same energy. And this is what I was told to get. Now, it's hard to see on here. This is a very unique looking rock structure. And this is what I was told to pick up. So when you're doing this stuff, do 100%, unless you know without a doubt that you're being told to pick that up, do not do it. Do not pick anything up unless they tell you to do it. I'm telling you now, you'll get experiences you do not like. And that I've seen that happen in places that wasn't haunted before. They went to a thrift store and got something, or a garage sale and got something, and came back and their lives were thrown upside down. It is the very same thing with things out in nature too. If the Fae wants you to have something, if your cryptid wants to tell you to have something, if you're if any type of supernatural entity wants you to have something, it'll tell you to get it. That's when you grab it. If it does not, do not grab it. If you go to an area, you could feel a pull. I need to check this out. You can do it. But if you ever get that vibe going, and I've had this, I talked about it with the Yowie deal over in Shellwater Bay Training Area, Australia, where I started going out in house and I got that feeling, get out. And I stepped off that porch. You listen to it, because I think my theory is a lot of this bad stuff that happens because you don't listen to it. What was that one comment I was talking? Whoa, I'm digging Eric's vibe. And oh, thank you, Steve.
Oh yeah, he's digging your vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, Eric, every time I go into on a hike or an investigation or something, I'm always pulled to like a little piece of quartz every single place I go. And if I pick it up and it doesn't feel right, like I feel like I'm being told to get it. Like it's almost like I have like tunnel vision to like a piece of quartz on the ground. So I put a piece of quartz in my pocket almost every time I go into the woods. Summer special, especially. And so I come home and I'm like, well, I have to like organize my quartz. Okay. But Okay, so quartz is one thing. I don't recommend everybody takes quartz, especially if you go to the Bell Witch Cave. Do not pick up quartz, y'all. Do not. Okay. Places like that, it's like cursed land or something. Don't do it. But if you feel inclined and you feel like you're being told to do it. Okay. But yeah, I look at thrift stores differently now. I used to love going thrifting and getting antiques and stuff. I don't like that anymore, especially not old mirrors and old chairs, and even clothes sometimes can hold that energy. And you don't know where that shirt has been or who wore those clothes. It could be like serial killer vibes and stuff, I don't know. Got to be careful.
I mean, I've personally made that mistake myself when I was younger. It's like, man, I got a bad feeling not to grab this, but dude, I really want this. I've always wanted one of these. This is a hell of a good price, dude. I'll snag that baby up, take her home. Wrong decision. Very wrong decision. But I've also known, I've been called in 2 places before. And because when they found out that I actually have dealt with stuff like this, he's like, I need you to check this out. And I kind of tap into their vibe. I'm like, yeah, these guys are serious. Okay, let's go check this out. And I don't even walk in the door and I point up. I said, right up there, you got something looking down at you. What do you got up there in that closet or in that attic? And they're like, well, we just picked up this deal from a yard sale. I said, is this when your activity started? Get rid of whatever that is, because I can feel it. I can feel it looking at me. I can see it looking at me. Whatever is attached to that is evil. Get the hell rid of it. And I'll get rid of it. Sometimes that'll work. Sometimes it won't, folks. I mean, even getting rid of that, sometimes we'll not get rid of it. If they want to feed off your energy, off your fear, they'll leave that object and attach themselves to you. And that's where you need a holy man to come in and bless your home. I keep sage, salt, very important. Very, very important when it comes to supernatural, paranormal. Salt, wrought iron, sage, and a holy man. Very important to keep.
Yeah, it's best just to keep it at the thrift store. It really is when it comes to stuff like that, because you just don't know. And yeah, I don't know. So this is interesting. Don says that I know someone who left his truck recently, and when he returned, there was a piece of possibly limestone placed in his driver's seat. Now that would be your true gift right there, I guess, if something just appears and manifests in your truck.
And what's weird is I've shown pictures of this because it blew my mind, and I was sharing it with DA when this stuff happened. But I was going through the woods, changing out SIM cards with my game cans, changing out batteries. Well, I had to come back to the house to grab some batteries. Now this has happened to me 4 times. 4 times I've had an incident like this happen. Me and my stupid way of thinking in the beginning was the dog's done this. But anyway, so me and the dogs come back to the house. Now I usually take the dogs with me out in the woods unless I'm hunting. Then I won't, because they're a very good source of pre-alert something bad's in the area. Because I got cougars, I got gray wolves, I got red wolves, I've got bobcats. I mean, I've got all the coyotes, I've got the bear, I've got bear here. I've got all different kinds of wildlife. None of it I'm scared of, but I'm also not a stupid fluffy guy. And no, I can't run very good no more. So I'm either going to be a mill, but I'm a screamer. So if I become a mill, I'm going to go with a fight and I'm going to scream. That's just how it is. Yeah. But they let me know. So yeah, I'm a screamer, baby. Yeah, I'm a screamer. So I came up here and grabbed some more batteries. Well, back here to the west of me was the other game cam I had to swap out the batteries in. So nothing's on my porch. I go, the dogs follow me. We go out back here to my bow stand, and I swap out my batteries in that game cam. I come up and I find this skull sitting on my porch in front of my door. So if it was there when I left, I would walk on this freaking thing. Okay.
Dude, the same thing happened to me, Eric. I was just kind of laughing. Eric, I had the same thing. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I had a piece of a skull, a jawbone left for me on my porch one morning when I woke up. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your story. I never could figure out where that thing came from.
I was joking around with DA. He's like, "Oh, look what I found here, man!" And he goes, "Your dogs were with you, right?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, they were." My dogs didn't drag us up, so I got curious. So I mean, the closest thing we could find to it was like a bulldog skull, because it was real weird. I've never seen a skull like this before. It was cool. Yeah, I'm a fluffy screamer, Robbie. But it was really cool. Now the funniest thing to this is, have we had bulldogs here? Yes, we have. We've never had a pup, and the last one we had here was 5 years prior, 2 or 5 years prior, somewhere around in that time frame. Nobody else around us has had bulldog pups. I've now had 2 different bulldog pup skulls given to me. My daughter just found one a month or so ago. The other thing I've had, in which I've not had on my property in several years, somehow, same incidents, I come back, there's a little empty little Caesars box sitting on my front porch. I've not had Little Caesars here. I can't even tell you how many years last time I ate Little Caesars here. Usually it was at Lodge, when I was at Lodge, because I'm a Mason. And usually at Lodge where we eat Little Caesars pizza anymore during them times. So I've never had it. And then all of a sudden I'm finding this little Caesars box, empty box, right on my front porch, right where both them skulls were. And then not even a couple months ago, I was out back. I was getting some firewood. I said, I'm fluffy, so I don't want to walk around the whole house carrying a bunch of firewood in my arms. So I have my daughter lift up the window next to the wood stove, and I hand her up the firewood. There was nothing underneath this window. She goes out not even 2 hours later, and I've got pictures of all this stuff. I've got pictures on there, and I've shared it on my deal on my Bigfoot experience, possible Bigfoot side and stuff. And I found a rib cage of an animal with a vertebrae sitting on top of that rib cage, sitting right outside that window, not even 2 hours after I brought wood in. Yeah. Yeah, he's telling me, he's like, you can get more pizza, bro. He's like, come on, dude. Like, seriously, man. We got the serious monkeys, man. And like this Little Caesars pizza is like phenomenal, man. You got to get some more, That could be, dude. But yeah, it's I do KFC. Oh yeah. Huh. I gotta try that one. But no, I mean it's weird stuff that I find out here, So they ever man. Like my little kids, man, they stole my stash, dude, and they ain't replacing it. I told the little dudes, man, you smoke my stuff, man, you gotta replace it, yo. It's stuff. But they'll gift you things like that all the time, it's not uncommon. So I've had 2 different skulls. I've had a Little Caesars box and a rib cage with a vertebrae sitting right on top of it.
Yeah, well, I woke up one morning and I had on this porch. I was living in downtown Atlanta, and I believe I was pregnant with my son at the time, and I went outside one morning, and I had 2 dogs at the time. And on the porch, we had a lot of squirrels. I fed the birds. I'm a bird feeder. I like to feed birds and whatever critters in the backyard. And so the squirrel, I inadvertently would feed the squirrels too. And I always felt like, well, maybe it was a squirrel, but something had left a gigantic jawbone, like the bottom of a jaw, like on my porch. It was beautiful. It looked like something that, I wouldn't wear it as like jewelry, but like somebody could have if they were witchy or something, But at the time I don't want to say I was weirded out by it, but I was trying to figure out like, where did that come from? It was just right there where I saw it right when I opened up the back door going down the staircase. And so there's a lot of people in the chat right now that are saying that they've been gifted stuff or things were left. Just like David Pardue. Hey, David, saying he had a possum skull and 3 turkey legs left for him. I never made the connection to like, I never made the connection to like a cryptid, but honestly, I'm not going to lie. I felt when I saw that bone there, I felt like it was left as a gift from like a spirit. That's what I felt when I saw it. So
that is possible. Now ravens are also known to bring gifts out too. So oh yeah, DA. That's why I'm wondering. See, now that's funny you say that, DA, because I didn't get to go hunting this year. I came down bad sick with the mucus in the lungs that ended up turning into a bad sinus infection. Got hit from that, and then ended up hurting my knee. We won't get in details. I have things when I drink sometimes, and I woke up with a hurt knee. So I didn't get to go hunting this year. Now, every year when I go hunting, whatever I don't keep, I have a special spot that I put in my kills. I give back Mother Nature what Mother Nature gives to me. I share. I don't pick all my berries. I leave some berries for Mother Nature. I don't pick mushrooms. I leave some mushrooms for Mother Nature as well. We live together in a circle. So I'm wondering if they're like, hey, dude, you forgot something? What's up?
Yeah.
Could that have been what that rib cage and that vertebrae was about? Possibly. I don't know. But this is one of the few years that I haven't been able to go out and hunt, bow hunting or rifle, because I'm either sick or hurt. And I don't hunt unless it's cold. I let my meat hang in the tree for 3 or 4 days before I process it, because I want to get a good age on that meat. I want it to bleed out properly, get all them enzymes and all that stuff working to get the meat at the correct flavor, to get rid of that gamey stuff and make it good for you. So unless it's 42 degrees or less, I won't hunt, because I leave my meat hanging in the tree for about 3 or 4 days. We have 2 crows in attempting to murder. You got a murder, DA. Come on. There's more than one crow. That's a murder. Hey, Robbie, you need to see investigation at DA's house. Just saying, you got murder going on there. But yeah, but no, I mean, so crows will gift you stuff. Cryptids will gift you stuff. Supernatural gift you stuff. So I mean, that possibility of you saying it felt supernatural, like it was paranormal, that they gave it to you, I can't dispute that, because they'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like they come out and say, hey, fluffy dude, go grab this. No, you get that thought, you need to pick this up. And usually that's how it comes across. You need to pick this up. Or if you pick something up and it says, you better put that back down, listen to that, because I'm telling you, you don't want to do this. Unkindness. Yeah, but we don't have ravens here, DA. We got crows. So murder. That's all attempted. That's true. It's attempted. It's 2. I'll give you that one, Robbie. But
oh my God.
So I was thinking about a subject. So is that why Dogman, Bigfoot, and Thunderbirds are located in some areas, also being around a water source? So water sources hold a lot of energy, same as limestone. And yeah, that's true, DA. That's true. That's true. I'll give you that, DA. I'll give you that. So unkindness. But water sources, like when I'm doing a paranormal investigation, I'm really excited when I have water or limestone or both, because a lot of your paranormal activity is going to be amplified with those. So portals are known to be around water, on land, or even in the air. So the fact that, hey, could they be manifesting this or this? Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. They can come around areas because there's high energies. Like when I talked about when I was telling him about the 12 triangles, they're all associated around a high energy location. A lot of your ancient structures are built on high energy locations. The natural energy of the earth is what powers these things. So yeah, being around the water sources is a very good possibility because of that. Thunderbirds, it's funny, if you actually listen to the description of a Thunderbird, it's a freaking pterodactyl.
Yeah.
You actually listen to the story and description of a Thunderbird. It's a freaking pterodactyl, which is still being seen mainly in Texas nowadays. But there's other locations where they're talking about seeing pterodactyls. That's what the natives called a Thunderbird.
Yeah, they're all over the country, actually. We have pterodactyl or pterosaur sightings in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Texas. I mean, all over the South, but yeah, all over the country. Actually, I don't know if Javier's in the chat tonight, but some of the guys out in Fresno, and Adolf is in the chat. He lives Adolf's on the screen right now. This is Adolf's question. I think he lives out. You live out in Fresno too, right, Adolf? So they're out there. They've had pterosaur sightings, okay, or at least Javier has, who goes out and does field research with them. So they're everywhere. And yeah, I've always wondered if that was a connection, if the Thunderbirds were actually pterosaurs or pterodactyls.
Yeah, you actually listen to a lot of Native American descriptions of a Thunderbird. There, even some of the paintings they have on the cave walls, it's a freaking pterodactyl, which makes sense. I mean, folks, they're going to tell you that dinosaurs, existed millions of years before humans. Horse crap. Sorry. Look at the Mayan pyramids. Look at the Aztec pyramids. They have carvings of Stegosauruses, Tyrannosaurus rexes, Brontosaurus. They wouldn't carve that unless they seen it. I know of two fossilized creek beds that have dinosaur and human footprints side by side.
Yeah.
If they were extinct from the asteroid, then why we have the Congo River monster? Is a freaking dinosaur. It's a was it a plesiosaurus? I forgot which one it is now. That attacks the ships on, huh?
Yeah, yeah. There's all sorts of different dinosaur sightings today, and the plesiosaur would be like the Loch Ness monster. I think I'm pretty sure that's what that is in the water. So
I remember this one is the smaller of the long necks and has spikes down its back, but I forgot which one that one is off the top of my head.
It almost looks like a brontosaurus or something, but
a shorter, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one in Africa.
Yes.
The Mambembe.
But there's actually one too. There's actually one too, DA, where it comes out of the jungle and attacks the boats on the river, and it's that long neck dinosaur, but it's like the smaller one of the brontosaurus, but it looks like a brontosaurus but small, and it has spikes down its back. But I can't remember the name of it. But I can't remember the name of it off. I'll have to look it up. But anyways, that's another type. So I mean, you're having Nessie, you're having Mbembe, you're having all these other accounts, folks. Another thing, think outside the box. Guess what else was alive during the days of the dinosaur that's still alive now? Alligators, crocodiles, giraffes, elephants, sharks, whales. There is so many creatures that was alive, alive during that time that are still alive now. So why would it wipe them out and not these? Why do we have ancient structures with depictions of these things on them, and yet we're told they were extinct way before? Why do we have fossilized cryptids with the footprints in it? Yes, there you go, Robbie. I think that is it. That sounds very familiar. I think that is it, buddy. I think you're on. But
Apatosaurus. Robbie's looking it up online, I bet.
That's pretty good because I have to open up another page to be able to do it on mine. But yeah, so I mean, you got all these modern encounters of dinosaurs that still exist and stuff from history telling you these things. Now, for a long time, I was under the theory that dragons were mistaken as dinosaurs. They were calling, because dinosaurs is a new term. They were actually called dragons for a very long time. But it wasn't until I started researching ancient dragon stuff and started seeing remains of Kukulkan and Typhon and all these other dragons that you can see on Google Earth. You can actually find the remains of them, that I started realizing maybe there was actually dragons too, So yeah. We know from ancient history, we walked with them. Yeah, It means terrible lizard. Dinosaur, I believe, wasn't it coined in 1865, 1870, if I remember correctly? I mean, it's
1800.
1800. So yeah, it's a fairly modern term. So then back then it was dragons.
Oh my gosh, yes. We have talked about so much stuff tonight, Eric. This has been really awesome. Like, this has been a fantastic show. We have gone well over 2 hours tonight. So maybe we should get some final thoughts and kind of wrap it up, because I would love for you to come back and hang out with me and do some more of this talking all this paranormal stuff, man. I'm loving it.
Oh, it's a blast. It's a fun subject, folks. It really is. And and I always tell everybody, I'll continue telling you, just do not take what I say for granted. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Come up with your own theories, your own hypothesis, or build upon mine. I can't stress that enough, that we need to do that. And I can't stress that we need to come together as a community and talk about all our ideas, all our theories, all our hypotheses. We'll never get to truth if we're divided. We need to come together.
Yeah.
We need to talk together, talk about this. That's why I love doing this stuff. Yeah, Ron, turtles are too. Yes.
Turtles. Yeah. Sorry, no, this is great. I mean, I literally have collaborated with so many people, including the people in the chat today, on this topic, and the I guess the baby Dogman pup that turns out I think it's probably this puppet. Okay, so to give a recap, because I know we've gone over 2 hours, almost 2.5 hours tonight. This is something that I did remote view, you guys. It was that Dogman puppy looking thing that allegedly was unalived by some hunters. Okay, and this is something that I had not been made aware of until somebody sent me all this information last year, and we didn't have the pictures that I had today. We just got these today from some of the guys at the North American Dogman Project, and so we do believe after remote viewing that, and then getting this after I consulted with them, I had no mention of Dogman or any kind of cryptid in the data. It was really gray area, cloudy. I believe personally, it's probably a puppet. It was a movie prop, y'all. Mm-hmm. So there you go. I mean, we talked about so much other stuff, though. I mean, that was just a tiny little portion of what all we talked about tonight, Eric. This has been fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a blast. I'm truly honored you've invited me on, man. It's been a blast.
Thank you. Tell the audience where they can find you. Tell everybody about your podcast, your channel, and your weekend morning brew stuff that you do with William.
So on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, and sometimes Friday nights, I get on with William Nighthawk at William Nighthawk 6630 on his YouTube channel. We talk about a genre of different stuff. A lot of stuff is stuff that was hidden from us. That's deals with modern stuff going on. We also talk about anything paranormal, supernatural, mythological, or anything like that. Yeah, you're welcome, Kathleen. So it's really fun, really great. And then I have my shows, which Saturday at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time Saturdays. I have my show on my YouTube channel, The Bizarre and the Unknown. If you see that logo, you'll find my fluffy butt there. I do what's called campfire chat. And that show Saturday is, thank you, Robbie. That show Saturday is for if you want to have a safe place to talk about your encounters. And it could be paranormal, it could be supernatural, it could be cryptid, it could be mythological, folklore, anything that's the bizarre and the unknown, dealing with this amazing universe that we have out there. This is what that show's for. I can bring you on live and you can talk about it, or you can talk about it in chats, and we'll discuss it and we'll go over it. I cannot tell you what you've seen was wrong because I wasn't there to see it. Regardless if I agree with something or not, I can't tell you what you've seen was not true because I wasn't there. So this is a safe place for you to come in and talk about this stuff. I want an open platform for it's safe for people to come in and talk about their encounters. Now, Sunday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, I have what's the regular, the Bizarre and the Unknown channel. And that's where I pick a subject and talk about, and what's been usually whatever lays heavy on my heart, that's what I talk about. Now, I couldn't do my Bigfoot for a long time because I was under contract for the Byways of Bigfoot docu-series I was part of. But I have now that it's been released, I've done a show on that, going over some of the findings that I've found. But I do different stuff. Like this weekend is going to be the magic of the Ozark Mountains. And we're going to talk about all the paranormal, supernatural, and the magic stuff that happens in these wonderful mountains called the Ozark. So that's kind of stuff I do.
Okay. Well, you do a lot. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I mean, I am always entertained and I always learn something. That's like always the takeaway with all my shows. I just hope the audience learns something every time we do a show. And I love it. It is like a safe space. I guess I thought safe space was a funny word, or funny phrase, right? But it is. It's kind of like a therapy, kind of getting to talk about these things and explore together. Okay. Really, I'm just here having fun. That's all I'm doing.
This is a blast. This is so fun. That's why I love doing this. I mean, I work 10-hour days, 4 days a week. And then what days I ain't working, I'm usually doing research, writing books, or, I'm a single daddy, folks. So, I stay busy. So I'm usually, I get Roxanne's usually on my butt a lot because I don't get a whole lot of sleep during the weekend because I'm bouncing between one thing or another and blah, 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 blah. So Roxanne usually rides my butt pretty hard. Like, you need to get some sleep. I was like, I knew. So it's fun. I love it, man.
Yeah, I'm the same. I know how being a single parent goes too, man. I know we're busy over here, but we take the time to do what we love, and this is a great way to express our creativity and just share what we know with everybody and to fellowship. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I have absolutely loved this tonight, and thank you, Fluffy Butt. You're forever gonna be Fluffy Butt now.
That's awesome, man. I've got a road name and I got a regular name, but I don't put my road name on here because I'll probably get in trouble on YouTube. So,
oh yeah, because you ride motorcycles and stuff, right? Yeah.
I just say have to deal with Quagmire.
I saw that on your Facebook.
Yeah. I got a couple of them. I have an author's Facebook page and I have a regular one. My author's Facebook page, anytime I come up with a book idea, I put it on there. If I come up with a book cover design, I pick some I put on there and I let my readers pick which cover they want for that book. I'm a big believer of bringing my readers into my work because I write these books for them. So I love to have them in on that.
Oh, well, tell me really quick, what are your books about? What all books? You said you've written about 5 books, right? Yeah. And can people buy those somewhere?
I've got 5 of them published. Yeah. Just like D.A. Roberts. And I say this on every one of my shows too. I tell them to do the same thing with D.A. Roberts. Go to Amazon, type in e.d.testerman, like what's on my name on here, and it'll pop up one of my books. And you go under there and you click my name, it takes you to my author's page. And you'll be able to follow me there. And anytime I release something new, it'll let you know. Do the same thing with DA on his. So I write different genres. Now, I write cryptid horror. I've got Saga Grimson Book 1, The Beginning, which all my books have me and a part of me and my family in them. So a lot of my stuff is Norse-based because that's my primary bloodline is Norse. So the kind of the sagas of Ragnar and some of my families all tied in my books. So right now, Saga Grimson Book 1, The Beginning, Saga Grimson Book 2, Black Death, which is the theory of the dark druids causing the Black Death. That is out there. Another cryptid horror I have is called the Varangian Guard, Book 1, House of Battle, which takes place during World War II with the Nazi werewolves. So that is a prequel to the Saga of Grimson's. And that's out. And soon I'll be having these out on audio. I just approved my first historical fiction I wrote, which was called The Dolphs, Land Beyond, which is a Mountain Man series. I just finally approved the audio version. So that's going to be out there. I have a sci-fi called In Harjar Book 1, The Merchants, which is another Norse-based futuristic space deal. And they fight reptilians, but they're called the Gru. So a lot of stuff, research I do on like a lot of stuff, cryptid stuff, I add in my books, even my sci-fi. Now, everything I write, you can actually find that place. Even my sci-fi, I give the NASA name of that planet along with me. So you can actually go on there and type in Gliese 667b and boom, pop up that planet and you get to see the planet that I'm talking about. It's in my book. I do a lot of things. My cryptid horrors is very time-based. So whatever the period I'm writing in, I stick to that period. So the places, the people that's in it is very period-based. And I really like doing that. So that's the stuff I write. I'm currently working on another historical fiction. It's called The Two Brothers, War and Turmoil. And that's about how 2 Norse brothers don't know about each other. One's in England and one's in Norway, and they come and they find each other in the heat of battle. That's kind of what that one is. And I just started another one that's actually a murder mystery, and it's called Death Haunts the Night. Now, I've never wrote a murder mystery before, but something in my heart told me I need to write a murder mystery, so I'm writing a murder mystery. And I'll tell you guys, I don't even know who the killer is yet. You'll know just like I do whenever it decides to pop in there. I don't know yet. That's how I'm going to write this book. So Lord knows how it's going to come out. So
okay,
it's fun.
So I just want to tell the audience.
I give a lot of
Oh, okay, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to tell the
Good.
audience, none of you guys have any excuse for not writing a book, okay? Because Eric is a busy man. You have written so many books, just like DA too. Like all these guys are writing books and have very successful books and successful authors. Man, if they, I need to write a book, man. I need to write a book. So I have no excuse that I don't have time. I can't say I don't have time, okay? I can't, because you're finding time to do it. And so you are an inspiration, Eric, okay? I love it. All right.
Sorry.
Well, you
No,
go.
and I'm dyslexic, y'all. I can't read and spell
Okay.
with a hoot. And if I'm writing, you could do it. I am very dyslexic. Reading and writing is very, very hard for me. So I have multiple programs that I use to help me write. You guys can do it. I mean, Jessica, you better get one out there. You better get. I'm telling you now. I'm putting you to the grindstone. Get a book.
Okay. Keep the fire under my feet. Okay. I'm going to hold you to that. You got to keep the fire under my feet. Okay. I will crank. I can crank out a book quick. I have a degree in English literature, actually. So I am a writer by nature. I do. Yeah, I do. I'm a writer. That's something that people didn't know about me till just now. Yes. I have a degree in English lit. Yeah. Yeah. You can't tell by the way I talk though, can you? I'm just kidding.
I got a degree in hillbilly, man. That's how I talk. I talk hillbilly or old Marine grunt. I have to really dumbify my stuff down. And, D.A. Roberts is an amazing man, and I'm so blessed to have him in my life because there's sometimes I write something, and I write the way we are in the Marine grunts, as a Marine grunt. And that's usually not very civilian friendly. So every now and then, if I get thinking, I probably will send it to DA. What do you think? And he's usually like, yeah, you probably need to tone that down. But because every bit of my books has me in it. So I talk how we talk in the Marines.
Yeah. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you, Walken.
I love that. Yeah. This
right,
is mustard. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love it. Well, I want to read some of your books, man. That sounds amazing. And yeah, it's just you are an inspiration though. And I really enjoyed being here tonight. Okay. So man, we could go all night with all these comments. We got the best chat on the internet. Okay, we absolutely do. And we got some jokesters in here, Robbie. I see you tonight. But yeah, this has been awesome. All right. Well, listen, y'all. What do you have coming up next? You got this weekend. You got your shows. We're going to come in there. Everybody go subscribe. Okay. And we're going to be in there to come support you at the Bizarre and the Unknown on YouTube. You guys, please go subscribe, and then go over to Nighthawk High Strangeness and subscribe to. Okay. And
it's great, man. And I want all you guys to comment. I love when you guys comment because that's what brings it. That's what this is about. This is why I do this. I'm very new at this podcasting thing. My fluffy butt is still learning to this day how to podcast. I'm learning new things every time. So a little bit, I get a little, military speak. Yeah, that's me. That's me. I have to tone myself down in special shows because I'm like, I can't say that. No, Robbie, you're never a troublemaker, dude.
No, never. Oh my God. I know, right? Oh, thank you, Millie.
So no, you guys are awesome.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
okay.
You guys are awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And you guys, please come back. I'm going to be here Saturday night with David Pardue and Dave Mosier, I think is coming into two guys that I go out in the field with, and we do Bigfoot research together down here in the South. They're from North Carolina, and we're going to be showing some interesting footage of. We got a lot of interesting stuff to show, but we're going to mainly be talking about that reptilian that David has captured on film and pictures and has some eyewitness accounts on. And we're going to talk about some other stuff as well. So that's going to be a fantastic show. Then I'll be back Sunday night on Spaced Out Radio. Both of those are at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. So I hope you all come back and see me. And Fluffy Butt, Eric, I hope you'll come back too. And come just hang out. Okay, well, I'll hit you up for another interesting topic. Okay.
Okay, cool. And before we go, hey, folks, I've had this issue too. Sometimes it'll unsubscribe you from her channel. And also sometimes, and that's a lot of different podcasts, and sometimes it'll take and move your notifications from all to private. And this, I've noticed that's been happening a lot lately too. So y'all get in there, any podcast, make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure the alert button is to all, not just private only.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I never even think about that, to tell people, yeah, make sure you're subscribed. If you guys are new here, please subscribe and share these videos out, like them, leave comments after the show, like them. And it really does help with the algorithms, and it gets our shows out there for everybody. And there's a lot of people in the chat tonight who have their own YouTube channels as well. You guys be sure to go subscribe to everybody that's in here tonight. Okay. All right. Well, awesome. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. Well, have a wonderful night. We have gone 2.5 hours. This might be a record show for me. Okay. 2.5 hours. And it feels like it just started. It really does. All right, Eric. Well, let's have a great night. And we'll see you on your channel this week. All right. Y'all have a great night. Bye.
Love and blessings, everyone.